Welcome to Whisperer of Madness. If you're enjoying the story, consider liking the video and subscribing. It really helps grow the channel and this community. Zhuxuanji. The specific content is the cancelled warrants for Sun Lingtong and Yang Chanyu, and giving Sun Lingtong one opportunity to select an item from the royal treasury as a reward. Ningzhu couldn't help but open his mouth slightly, his face filled with disappointment. This. He had indeed been full of expectation before, but had not anticipated that the royal family of Southern Bean Country would be so shrewd. Whether it was the official explanation or the secret reward, everything was just perfect, except they had overlooked him, Ningzhu. After delivering the message, Zhu Xuanji immediately stood up. Last thing I'll tell you, that scripture which can extract spiritual nature, do not leak it carelessly. Although it is a Buddhist scripture, it is still too eye-catching, obviously from the practices of the burial spirit sect. Ningzhu hurriedly intercepted halfway. Lord Zhu, are you leaving just like that? Don't go, please. I've specially prepared a little feast for you. Zhu Xuanji ignored him and walked away directly. Ningzhu chased after him, stuffing a magic treasure into Zhu Xuanji's hand. Just a small token of appreciation, no respect intended. Hee. Zhu Xuanji looked down and saw it was the jade dragon mirror, which together with the golden phoenix mirror he brought back, formed a set. A part of the content of the agreement between the three families was to divide several magic treasures floating in the main hall. The jade dragon mirror was Ningzhu's share. Zhu Xuanji quickly withdrew his arm, furious. You actually think of bribing me? I am a divine hunter, I am Zhu Xuanji. Do you really think I would accept your bribe? Young whelp, how dare you insult me? HMPH, just the same as Sun Lingtong, birds of a feather. Ningzhu wasn't intimidated and continued with a playful smile. Lord Zhu, don't be nervous. This will be our little secret, known only to the heavens and the earth. Zhu Xuanji directly soared into the sky, turning into a rainbow and leaving decisively. Watching his departing light, Ningzhu clutched his wrist and sighed. Why did he leave so quickly? I still wanted to negotiate the mechanical demon general with him. After the event, Ningzhu, Zhu Xuanji, and Meng Qi divided up 3 golden core level mechanical artifacts, namely the Buddhist physician, demon general, and Taoist master. Ningzhu blinked in confusion, thinking, why do I feel Zhu Xuanji didn't dare to face me? There was a sense of panic about him. He shook his head, feeling that it was just his imagination. I can't defeat Zhu Xuanji in a real fight after all. My trump cards have been revealed, and although my mother's spiritual nature has significantly recovered, every time I use my divine skills or the big snake scythe, it consumes a lot of spiritual nature. The strongest mechanism in Ningzhu's possession was undoubtedly the Buddhist physician, but he would never use it lightly. The more abundant the spiritual nature, the longer my mother can hold on. As long as there is a trace of spiritual nature left, there is hope. Zhu Xuanji, flying in the sky, had a pensive look. Ningzhu's feeling was not wrong. Zhu Xuanji did not want to have any more contact with Ningzhu. It wasn't that he feared Ningzhu or feared the big snake scythe, but he feared the Buddha heart demon seal. The emperor's dying words had made it clear that the Buddha heart demon seal was related to the conflict between the Buddhist realm and the demon world, and the karma was immense. Of course, Zhu Xuanji did not want to be involved and could only choose to keep his distance. Not offering Ningzhu any rewards or official position was also based on this consideration. If he did become an official of Southern Bean, the royal family would probably perish for being unable to bear the Buddhist and demonic karma. In short, to keep a distance from Ningzhu and to observe from afar was the most prudent thing to do. It was good for Zhu Xuanji himself as well as for the entire Southern Bean Kingdom. Shortly after Zhu Xuanji's departure, Ningzhu also arrived quietly. Great ancestor, I've waited day and night, and finally, I've seen you, Ningzhu said with a sincere expression. He greatly thanked Ningzhu for opening his eyes to the situation, revoking Ning Qingqiao's family elder position, and clearing the family's internal obstacles for this successful separation. Ningzhu snorted. What else could I do? Keep allowing the main line to target you, suppress you, give you justifiable reasons to destroy the entire main line. Ningzhu's expression changed immediately, and he swore on the spot that he would never be so heartless and cold. Although the main line had treated him indifferently, he had grown successfully thanks to the main line's care. He wouldn't resort to such extreme measures against the main line because, after all, they shared the same blood. No matter what, they are my family, Ning Zhu sighed. Ning Jiufan snorted. Ning Zio Hui, Ning Zioran. Aren't they your family as well? I may be old, but I'm not senile. I've heard that you have a pair of mechanical arms. Ning Zhu coughed quickly. Great ancestor, I also want to congratulate you. With the support of the royal family able to withstand the demon ape, we are already a major power with nascent soul-level fighting capabilities. Just now after a private discussion with Lord Zhu, I learned that the royal family did not grant me any rewards, not even the slightest official position. Ning Zhu spread his hands, exuding a strong emotion of grievance and disappointment all over his body. Ning Jiufan coughed a few times, knowing that Ning Zhu was using this as a bargaining chip to negotiate with him. Ning Jiufan sighed deeply and looked at Ning Zhu. Past matters are a messy account. Dwelling on them benefits us not in the present. Ning Zhu wholeheartedly agreed. Thus, his crime of plotting against Ning Ziohui and others was lightly glossed over by Ning Jiufan. Ning Jiufan, according to your previous message, you wish to leave Fire Persimmon Immortal City. Ning Zhu bowed. Great ancestor, for over a decade I have stayed in Fire Persimmon Immortal City, wishing to traverse the world. As the saying goes, it's through reading thousands of books and traveling thousands of miles that one gains wisdom. The world is so vast, and my heart longs to explore it desperately. Ning Jiufan stroked his beard and pondered. You do indeed stand out too much. Having conceded the palace master position earlier, Meng Kui must surely remember you. It would be good to lay low for a while. Ning Jiufan wasn't worried about Ning Zhu's personal safety. On one hand, Ning Zhu was even stronger than him in combat, which was preposterous. If Golden Core level strength couldn't allow one to travel the world, then the world was way too perilous. On the other hand, Ning Jiufan had even more confidence in Ning Zhu's abilities and schemes. If he, the great ancestor, was fooled thoroughly by him, then what issues could there be with this demon-like young man? When will you leave? Ning Jiufan asked. Ning Zhu replied, There's no rush, at least half a month. He explained that he needed to stabilize his cultivation, and the new division of the family required maintaining stability. Before you go, remember to leave behind a mechanism to take care of the family, Ning Jiufan instructed. I think that mechanical monkey is quite suitable. Ning Zhu revealed a lot to Ning Jiufan in exchange for his support. In fact, for the tripartite cooperation, it was necessary to let Ning Jiufan be in the know. Even if Ning Zhu had not spoken, Zhu Xuanji would have done so. Ning Zhu began to live a life of seclusion. The flying trading company left, but Song Fury, along with 2 golden core cultivators, secretly doubled back and lay in wait in the nearby mountains. Luo Shang dispersed ghost soldiers and ghost generals in all directions, and together with Han Ming, they waited as well. Yang Chanyu kept her eye on Sun Lingtong, constantly urging her to bid farewell to Ning Zhu and return to the Bukong sect as soon as possible. She had made a huge profit this time. Ning Zhu struck a deal with Meng Kui and Zhu Xuanji, securing many treasures of the Immortal Palace, and also reaped a rich harvest from the Zheng family's legacy, receiving many congratulatory gifts for establishing his own branch. Among these gifts, Ning Zhu added a golden core level 7 colored auspicious clouds, which he gave to Yang Chanyu. Yang Chanyu was very satisfied with this, but she was worried about the journey back. Even if she couldn't detect Song Fury and Luo Shang, she knew that the Bukong sect had made mortal enemies with both parties. The road back would surely be fraught with life-threatening perils and would not be peaceful. Ning Zhu had a secret meeting with Sun Lingtong in the underground base. Glancing around, Sun Lingtong giggled and said with emotion, In a few years, these secret bases will cease to exist. The city protecting Great Array of Fire Persimmon Immortal City had many loopholes. This was because it had to be considerate of the Lava Fairy Palace and did not want to affect the Immortal Palace's guardianship of Fire Persimmon Mountain. Thus the array was conservatively laid out. Now that Meng Kui had become the palace master, he could integrate the entire Immortal Palace into the Immortal City's Great Array, serving as its core. Therefore, the city protecting Great Array would definitely be thoroughly reorganized and refined. Finding loopholes afterward would be as difficult as scaling heaven. Ning Zhu, however, was indifferent to the underground base and urged Sun Lingtong, Let's go, boss. The two concealed their presence and moved through the base's passageways, eventually delving deep into Fire Persimmon Mountain. In a tunnel, Ningxiu halted. "This is the place." He manipulated a mechanical fireworks monkey, which furiously dug into the ground. Soon, the monkey unearthed a small and exquisite mechanical little dragon. The mechanical little dragon, no longer than Ningxiu's palm, was entirely dull and unremarkable. But Ningxiu knew that this was a high-grade nascent soul-level artifact, the 10,000 Li traveling dragon. After scouring it with his divine sense, Ningxiu's face lit up with joy. "Excellent, just as I expected. The dragon turtle fire spirit is inside as well." At these words, Sun Lingtong rejoiced. The palace spirit sought its own death, which was extremely odd. Did it really think we were fools? "Ha ha, but little Zhu, you found it." "But how did it manage to escape right under our noses and slip into this mechanical little dragon?" Ningxiu said. "The spiritual nature has no fatal weakness. It's quite possible it used the Immortal Palace's punitive measures to split itself into two parts. The main body remained in the main hall, deceiving us by seeking death willingly. Once the main body perished, the separate entity became the only one left, gradually regaining consciousness from its apparent death." Ningxiu found the dragon turtle fire spirit within the mechanical little dragon, but the latter was grievously injured, motionless, and slowly recuperating. After attempting for a while, Sun Ning successfully activated the mechanical dragon. The size of the 10,000 Li traveling dragon remained unchanged, but two beams of light burst from its dragon eyes, hitting both Sun Ning and teleporting them instantly inside the artifact. "What brilliance!" Sun Lingtong, after some exploring, gradually mastered the manipulation of the 10,000 Li traveling dragon, dancing with delight. "This way, we can extract ourselves directly from Fire Persimmon Immortal City. Let's let Meng Qi temporarily take the post of Palace Master and repair the Immortal Palace for us. Ha ha ha." Ningxiu nodded with a smile. The reason he could find the dragon turtle fire spirit was because the moment he saw it in the main hall, he had attached a life hanging thread to it. Ultimately, the main body of the dragon turtle fire spirit was consumed by fire, but Ningxiu immediately felt the life-hanging thread move outside the hall and rapidly change locations. At that time, Gu Zhen was still chasing after the 10,000 Li traveling dragon. "The Immortal Palace wields 3 authorities, and now I control the Buddha Heart Demon Seal and the Dragon Turtle Fire Spirit." The Zhu family betting on Ningjiufan was actually within Ningxiu's expectations. "The Zhu family seeks to leverage my Ning family, and isn't my Ning family also using them in turn, to help me in the future reclaim the position of the Immortal Palace Master?" Ningxiu smiled and turned to Sun Lingtong. "But boss, are you sure that leaving with me won't cause you any trouble in the future?" Sun Lingtong laughed heartily. "How astute am I? Originally, I promised that silly woman Yang Chanyu to return to the Bukong sect with her once the Lava Fairy Palace matter was settled. But has this matter concluded?" He spread his hands. "No." "Good." Ningxiu nodded and relaxed. He subconsciously looked up in the direction of the Fire Persimmon Immortal City. For Ningxiu, this was where he was born and raised. It was his hometown. "Farewell for now, my hometown," he whispered in his heart and immediately manipulated the 10,000 Li traveling dragon. The mechanism activated at full strength, the nascent soul-level energy no longer concealed, surging violently and immediately attracting several gazes. The next moment, with a dragon's roar, the 10,000 Li traveling dragon twisted its body, left a residual image in its place, and vanished without a trace. "That clever young man, even deceiving his own ancestors." Ningjiufan cursed with a smile creeping on his lips. Ningxiu told him to wait at least half a month. Yet within a few days, he had slipped away. The next moment, Ningjiufan's smile abruptly froze as a thought struck him. "Wait. My ice heart jade pot is still with him, and he hasn't returned it to me yet. This little rascal. When you come back, I'll hang you up and spank you until your butt swells," Ningjiufan said, his teeth itching with anger. A flying message, like a bird, kept colliding with the window lattice. Ningjiufan, with a thought, pushed open the window and let the flying message in. It was a letter from Ningxiu. "Dear ancestor, by the time you read this letter, I must have already run away from home." The contents of the letter mainly dealt with Ningxiu's views on the current situation of the Ning family, Fire Persimmon Immortal City, and the strategical games with the Zhu and Meng families. Ning Zhu predicted that next, surrounding the positions in Lava Fairy Palace, the Ning and Zhou families must have a significant conflict and competition with the Meng family. On this matter, do not forget about Taking Palace. Taking Palace had taken away a group of Zheng family cultivators, some of whom held positions in the Immortal Palace. Ning Zhu felt that this influential sect's taking away the Zheng family possibly indicated they had not given up on the Lava Fairy Palace. This might be an exploitable point. Ning Zhu had deliberately left a batch of resources, and soon, his subordinates would deliver them to Ning Jiufan. This act was specifically to compensate and repay the main family line for their past nurturing. Lastly, Ning Zhu reminded Ning Jiufan, now that he had left without leaving any mechanical artifacts behind, Ning Jiufan needed to take extra care of the collateral family. Although the nascent soul demon ape could rely on official skills and magic treasures to defend strongly, Ning Zhu highly advised against this. As he said, ruling with affection was the true way. After reading this, Ning Jiufan's anger subsided significantly, and he snorted, "This stinky kid, he still thinks about the family after all. He's just too meddlesome, even trying to manage me, the old ancestor. HMPH. Wait, could this letter also be part of his schemes? Had he calculated even my anger into this?" Ning Jiufan's face flickered with uncertainty. It had to be said that the perseverance and strategy Ning Zhu displayed in the pursuit of the Lava Fairy Palace had left a profoundly deep impression on Ning Jiufan. So much so, that him, a golden core cultivator of remarkable combat prowess, now began to doubt and secretly wonder if he was being deceived by Ning Zhu again. After pondering for a moment, Ning Jiufan exhaled a foul breath and stopped obsessing over it. Overthinking is of no benefit. Ning Zhu, by nature, isn't bad. His heart is for the family, and though cunning and crafty, he has his lines. Such a talented individual still needs to be more earnestly won over. Ning Jiufan had already started considering how to elevate Ning Zhang's status. Perhaps, by bestowing a posthumous title, he could elevate Ning Zhang's status and strengthen Ning Zhu's sense of belonging to the family. Besides, during the Ghost Festival, the family's grand ceremony can communicate with the netherworld. I should personally make an appearance to seek higher blessings and reinforcements for Ning Zhu. City Lord's mansion. Ning Zhu left. With his nascent soul-level mechanics, he can escape void. He indeed knows much about Lava Fairy Palace. Fei Si breathed a sigh of relief upon learning this information. How could he tolerate others sleeping beside his couch? Despite Ning Zhu's lower cultivation level, the combat prowess and strategies he demonstrated made almost all those in the know wary of him. Fei Si was no exception. Zhu Xuanji set off from Fire Persimmon Immortal City the next morning. As he flew into the sky, he couldn't help but look back. Fire Persimmon Mountain sprawled on the land, nestled among lofty mountains and steep hills, resembling a giant just waking up. After the previous violent eruption, the cooled magma on the upper part of the volcano had turned into vast patches of red and black carpet covering the slopes. The traces of flowing lava, like massive veins, twisted and turned, recording the silent roar of nature. Further down, amidst the mid-part of the volcano, the large cluster of buildings constituted the appearance of Fire Persimmon Immortal City. Although somewhat damaged, it was overall intact. The city had once faced the disaster of being overrun by demon beasts, but thanks to the united spirits of the city's residents, disaster was averted and safety restored. Below the volcano, at the foot of the mountain, lay vast stretches of persimmon forests. Although the last Persimmon Fire Festival was just a few months ago, due to the volcanic eruption, endless geothermal energy had risen, which was fully absorbed by the city-protecting Great Array, thereby increasing the production of persimmons. Once bare treetops now bore many small persimmons, newly emerged. Their round, bright red appearance resembled the future hopes of Fire Persimmon Immortal City. However, the prospects for Fire Persimmon Immortal City still resembled the perpetual, unclear heavy clouds lingering atop the peak, ambiguous and unclear. A flash of golden light flashed through Zhu Xuanji's eyes, instantly piercing through the clouds to see the Lava Fairy Palace floating over the magma inside the volcano crater. The Lava Fairy Palace was being rebuilt. Meng Qi personally set to work, using Mana Power Hand to retrieve portions that had fallen into the magma. Many cultivators assisted him wholeheartedly, endeavoring to reattach the cracked parts of the palace back together. The 3 sect elders, Zhu Xuanji showed a look of wariness. These days, whenever he calmed his mind, he involuntarily remembered the final moment when he turned his weapon's aim and helped Ning Zhu confront Meng Qi. At that moment, he had inexplicably adjusted the mirror, locking onto Meng Qi's mana power hand. This action placed the Southern Bean royal family directly in front of Meng Qi, blocking his attack on Ning Zhu. At that time, protecting Ning Zhu, was it really my intention, or was I being controlled? Just after the event, when Zhu Xuanji recalled that critical moment, it felt strange and fishy, as if a puppet had been manipulated. But as he reminisced more, his feelings became blurred. It seemed like an instinctive action at the time, his body moving ahead of his mind's thoughts. Now, after recalling it so many times, he even began to doubt and suspect himself. Gradually leaving Fire Persimmon Immortal City behind, Zhu Xuanji ultimately couldn't resist and reached out to touch above his head. My head, is there a life-hanging thread tied above it? He touched nothing. Once, the scene he had witnessed in the royal capital surfaced in his mind. A statement from the 3 religious masters made his heart grow colder the more he dwelled upon it. At that time, the Southern Bean Supreme Emperor, in anger, had taken away the golden phoenix mirror. The 3 religious masters said to her, "Fate is already set. Since you have taken this golden phoenix mirror, from now on, protect the legacy of the immortal palace for me." After Meng Qi was succeeded by Ning Zhu as the master of the immortal palace, the more Zhu Xuanji thought about the religious master's words, the more he felt that those words were not meant for the Southern Bean Supreme Emperor, but for him. Thinking about it, ever since I set foot on Fire Persimmon Mountain, I've been led by the nose. I've always been cautious about this, maintaining vigilance towards the City Lord's mansion and the Black Shadow Demon Cultivator. Many clues, even if plainly visible, still require maintaining my initiative. However, in the end, I still returned without any accomplishment. No, my real greatest accomplishment might have been representing the royal family at the last moment, using the golden phoenix mirror on Meng Qi to save Ning Zhu. Could Lava Fairy Palace have been a stage set by the religious masters, and I'm just one of the puppets they've prearranged? The first time I used Trace Back, I saw Ning Zhu as the true culprit. But during the subsequent investigation process, though I made progress repeatedly, the results ended up proving Ning Zhu's innocence. Zhu Xuanji's heart filled with doubts. After sorting out his affairs, he wished he could immediately return to the royal capital. His mood was very urgent. He was eager to see the monarch again and express his doubts and speculations to her face to face. Strangely, the further he was from Fire Persimmon Mountain, the calmer and more at peace Zhu Xuanji's mood became. This feeling was like a beast escaping a huge trap. A sense of security emerged spontaneously. Fire Persimmon Immortal City, Lava Fairy Palace? There's something odd. A hunch arose in his heart, telling Zhu Xuanji to stay as far away from these places as possible in the future. And that Ning Zhu. Reducing contact would also be wise. This is the religious master's chosen heir, the son of destiny in the Buddha demon conflict. As people like Ning Zhu and Zhu Xuanji successively left, Fire Persimmon Immortal City gradually returned to its former calm. With no more havoc from the flame demon beasts and Lava Fairy Palace having an owner, foreign cultivators also left Fire Persimmon Mountain en masse. Fire Persimmon Immortal City, Flying Disc Workshop. An elderly man in a black robe, with grizzled whiskers, sat on a mechanical chair, performing breathing exercises and accumulating mana. The mechanical chair floated several feet above the ground. The old man had sunken eye sockets, his breath was long, he was Chen Cha. Suddenly, Chen Cha's body trembled violently, as if electrocuted before his eyes snapped open. His pupils had completely vanished, leaving eerie whites in his eye sockets. From the whites, plumes of white vapor escaped. Chen Cha seemed transformed, slowly turning his head, looking around before fixing his gaze in the direction of Lava Fairy Palace. His fingers moved quickly, leaving trails of motion in the air. With his calculations, the white vapor from his eyes intensified, floating midair, making Chen Cha appear like a mystical being shrouded in fog. Zhu Xuanji should have stayed here, guarding the immortal palace. How could he leave? And that Sun Lingtong also left. This game was set up by the religious masters. It should not have any flaws. There's the life-hanging divine power in Lava Fairy Palace. Nothing should go wrong. But who has sabotaged this situation? With this place compromised, my setup in Southern Bean Country has mostly collapsed. Headache, real headache. How can it be rectified? After finishing his calculations, Chen Cha's face was full of distress. Could it have been that Ning Zhu who disrupted the situation? The pressing task now is to first locate Sun Ning and see exactly where things went wrong. After reflecting, Chen Cha slowly closed his eyes. The white vapor filling the room quickly dissipated. Chen Cha's breathing stabilized again, and he continued his breathing exercises. After 30 minutes, he slowly opened his eyes. His pupils returned to normal. With his mana fully replenished, Chen Cha started studying technique classics. These technique classics had been arranged by Ning Zhuo before leaving Li City, specifically gifted to Chen Cha by his subordinates. Having met Ning Zhuo is my fortune, Chen Cha thought, absorbing the knowledge from the jade slip, feeling grateful towards Ning Zhuo. He had absolutely no memory or awareness of the abnormalities that had occurred to him earlier. 10,000 Li traveling dragon, cultivation cabin. Ning Zhuo sat cross-legged, floating midair. Sun Lingtong stood behind him, also floating, a chubby, tender little hand placed on Ning Zhuo's back. Ning Zhuo was cultivating the 3 superior sect techniques. First, the mirror stand spirit communication technique, then the 5 elements chi regulation art, and finally the demon-infused bloodline technique. At times he looked dignified, his face radiant with Buddha's light. At other times he floated ethereally as if celestial, and yet at others he was enveloped in a rich bloodiness, exuding a demonic presence. Sun Lingtong's divine sense permeated through, observing Ning Zhuo's 3 dantians. The upper dantian was cloudless for thousands of miles, and the areas above and below it were flat and smooth, like 2 immense mirrors, serving as the heavens and the earth of Xianxia. In between the mirrors, numerous small mirrors quietly floated. Thoughts rapidly proliferated within these mirrors and were extinguished in the blink of an eye. Indeed, it was the bright mirror spirit light dantian. Within the middle dantian, a 5-colored vortex spiraled like a tornado reaching up to the heavens, majestic and grounding. The chi of the 5 elements at times was distinct, at others intermingled as one, and still at others continually transformed between each other, showcasing the profound mystery of the generating and overcoming interactions of the 5 elements. Indeed, it was the 5 chi tian shu dantian. Inside the lower dantian, the blood chi was dense, covering the entire dantian, forming a vast expanse of red earth. Layer upon layer of blood vessels intertwined like vines, crisscrossing and weaving a vast network. Within the blood vessels, the blood chi was intense, flowing endlessly. With every beat of Ning Zhuo's heart, the chi that clung to the blood vessels undulated naturally like tides. Indeed, it was the blood-earth demon vessel dantian. Ning Zhuo had already ascended to the foundation establishment stage, and his 3 dantians had almost taken shape, undergoing profound transformations in their forms. At the end of the cultivation session, Ning Zhuo slowly opened his eyes. Sun Lingtong too gradually withdrew his palm. The array slowly ceased, and the 2 of them floated down to the ground. Sun Lingtong exclaimed, "Wonderful, truly wonderful. The 3 superior sect techniques are indeed exquisite. Just taking any one of them would be a top-grade cultivation technique. Had I not seen it with my own eyes, I would have found it hard to imagine that such excellent techniques could be cultivated simultaneously." The founders of the 3 superior sects were too amazing. Such achievements are truly earth-shattering. We've been lying low for over a decade, just to fight for the Lava Fairy Palace, and it really was the right move. Little Zhuo, if you continue to cultivate like this, you are sure to have a boundless future, Sun Lingtong stated with certainty. Ning Zhuo nodded. It's just a pity that the Dharma transmission bell only transmitted the Foundation Establishment chapter to me. The techniques for the Golden Core level will still require me to return to the Lava Fairy Palace for further transmission from the bell. Sun Lingtong hummed in agreement. That is indeed a troublesome matter, and on this point, we must be extra vigilant against the Meng family. Boss, I don't quite understand the part in the demon-infused bloodline technique where it talks about the heart melding with the technique, the spirit connecting with the flesh. Ning Zhuo sought guidance. Sun Lingtong stroked his chin. I haven't cultivated the 3 superior sect techniques myself, and earlier I was only using my divine sense to observe your practice. I can only offer my views, which may not necessarily be correct. Grasping a technique is not just about intellectual contemplation of its Tao and principles, but also about experiential understanding. This requires practice to deepen your understanding of the technique. You are only at the foundation establishment stage now, and advice from others can still be somewhat effective. Once you reach the golden core stage and beyond, you will rely mainly on personal enlightenment. So, do you still want my help? Instantly, Ningzhu understood Sun Lingtong's meaning. In the future, cultivators will increasingly rely on themselves for grasping techniques. If one does not cultivate the habit and ability to self-enlighten during the early stages, one will greatly suffer in this aspect later on. I should try to comprehend it on my own first, said Ningzhu. Sun Lingtong clapped his hands with a laugh. Ha ha, a wise choice indeed. Come, let us explore this 10,000-li traveling dragon properly. The 10,000-li traveling dragon used its spine as the central axis, with many cabins positioned on either side. The cultivation cabin where Sun Lingtong and Ningzhu were currently situated was one of them. Beside it, there were also the dragon head cabin, refining void cabin, storage cabin, active furnace cabin, nursery cabin, and more. After touring them all, they discovered that the storage cabin contained a massive amount of fire essence. The active furnace cabin was teeming with heat and near inaccessible. They could open the refining void cabin, but neither dared to take the risk. The nursery cabin was empty. Finally, they arrived at the dragon head cabin where they met the dragon turtle fire spirit. It lay curled up, dwelling inside a clam pearl. The clam pearl, about the size of a grinding stone, was a semi-transparent, rounded, and plump pearl. Ningzhu stretched forth his hand, covering the pearl with his palm. In the next moment, dense and intricate array patterns emerged, extending from the pearl across the desk, and then lighting up the walls before finally traveling along the dragon's spine, awakening all the mechanical parts of the entire mechanical dragon's body. Ningzhu tried to control one of the mechanical parts, and immediately a round hole appeared in the ceiling. The hole emitted a whirring sound, a large amount of airflow was swiftly extracted, and just as quickly replenished into the dragon head cabin. This was the qi integration valve of the mechanical parts. When activated, it could regulate the airflow between the various cabins. In cases like fires and such, the simplest measure would be to immediately deplete the air in that cabin, allowing the flames to be quickly extinguished. Fun, so much fun. Hurry, hurry, let me try. Sun Lingtong watched Ningzhu trying out various mechanical parts, itching to join in, his face full of excitement. The 10,000-li traveling dragon was a very classic mechanical artifact. Its combat capability was weak, but it was highly suitable for long-distance travel by cultivators. The various cabins of the mechanical dragon provided not only the functions for the 10,000-li traveling dragon, but also provided a relatively stable and safe environment for practicing cultivators on board. When Sun Lingtong took over and activated the observational mechanical components, Sun Ning and another person saw a series of images in the cabin. These were the surroundings of the current location of the 10,000-li traveling dragon. Almost all around was the faint lightlessness of darkness, with silver lines crisscrossing through the blackness, shooting straight past the 10,000-li traveling dragon. The silver lines were sometimes sparse, other times dense, and occasionally clusters of silver light would form blocks. Is this what it feels like for a nascent soul cultivator to traverse through the void? Sun and Ning were both entranced for a moment. 10,000-li traveling dragon, being of the nascent soul level, had its strongest point in imitating nascent soul cultivators' ability to traverse the void and achieve long-distance directed transmission. As they neared their destination, the speed of the 10,000-li traveling dragon gradually reduced. The silver lines underwent change, at first extremely thin, then rapidly thickening. Swelling silver lines merged with one another, eventually forming the reality of the world. The process was brief. Sun Ning and the other person felt a slight tremor in the mechanical dragon, felt momentarily disoriented, and discovered that the 10,000-li traveling dragon was already among mountains. Ningzhu immediately took out the map jade slip and deployed his divine sense to search. He discovered that the surrounding landscape did not match the depiction on the map. The 10,000-li traveling dragon was newly refined, and had no information such as the navigation route. It was a blank slate, relying solely on external maps for guiding direction. This map jade slip had been requested from Ning Jiufan and detailed the landscapes and terrains the Ning family had encountered on their migration route. However, the map was not accurate, forcing Ning Jiu to adjust the 10,000-li traveling dragon and take a look around. Under such circumstances, there was no need to enter the void. The 10,000-li traveling dragon, small as an earthworm and with restrained aura, flew through the sky, quite unremarkable. After circling around for the time it takes half an incense stick to burn, Ningxiu finally saw his destination, Mist-Hidden Mountain. This mountain stood tall and majestic, entwined with strands of mist. At dusk, between the gaps in the mist, green pines stood tall and vibrant. Streams murmured, merging into a symphony of clear sound. The Ning family had undertaken a long journey, migrating all this way, and at this spot they were once shrouded by dense fog, like being in a labyrinth trapped for 3 days and 4 nights before they managed to break free. To cure the Buddhist physician, Meng Yayan, Ningxiu had to address both symptoms and the root cause. For the root cause, he had no clue at the moment, but for the symptoms, he already had a plan. That was to retrace the migration route of the Ning family, collecting Meng Yayan's relics along the way, to see if through these relics he could find clues to Meng Yayan's identity and the cause of her Dao injury. At the least, he could enhance her spirituality by cremating the relics, extending the time she had to wait for a rescue. Ningxiu controlled the 10,000-li traveling dragon to circle around Mist-Hidden Mountain from high above. Like a flexible earthworm, and with its breath contained, the 10,000-li traveling dragon attracted no attention whatsoever. At the foot of the mountain, Ningxiu found a mountain village. Moments later, he slightly enlarged the 10,000-li traveling dragon, wrapping it around his waist like a belt. He and Sun Lingtong, disguised, deliberately entered the village. The male villagers, who were on patrol, loudly halted Sun Ning and his companion upon seeing them. Sun Ning and the other person both released their foundation establishment aura. The patrolling man, being in the Qi refinement realm, felt a great pressure but still stood his ground and stubbornly stopped Sun Ning and the other. Ningxiu reassured him kindly, explaining their intentions. The patrolling man, hearing Ningxiu's gentle words, gradually relaxed, no longer tense. "Oh, you want to go to the mountain god temple. Would you like to go to the true temple or the false one?" Ningxiu was surprised. "This is within the Southern Bean Country. I recall that the Southern Bean Country has long since leveled mountains and destroyed temples, strictly prohibiting licentious worship. How can there still be a false temple?" Ningxiu needed to search for his mother's relics, relying solely on the 10,000-li traveling dragon, and he and Sun Lingtong were insufficient to conduct a comprehensive search. After all, Mist-Hidden Mountain was massive in scale. Thus, the best approach was to inquire with the mountain gods of the land. The patrolling man hurriedly explained, "The false temple is also true. As the mountain god worshipped there is recognized by the royal family, the guest need not worry. We speak of true and false temples, only to differentiate between one being effective and the other not." Ningxiu then asked him to elaborate further. The patrolling man pointed out, the true temple was the Fox Fairy Temple of the Deputy Mountain God, and the false one was the Tiger God Temple of the True Mountain God. Both were situated to the north and south of Mist-Hidden Mountain, respectively. Sun Lingtong was momentarily taken aback. The common saying goes, "A fox borrows the tiger's might." But on Mist-Hidden Mountain, the fox fairy is truly efficacious, while the tiger god is not. How has it become the opposite? "Let's go take a look, and then we'll know," Ningxiu said before leaving, taking out a spirit stone as a token of gratitude, and handed it to the patrolling man. "Thank you for the enlightenment." Ningxiu smiled faintly at him. The patrolling man accepted the spirit stone, and when he saw the two of them about to leave, hesitated for a moment and hurriedly stopped them. "Please wait a moment, gentlemen. I will report back to the village chief to see if it's possible for you to stay overnight in the village." "Gentlemen, it's better not to enter the mountains at night. The mountain mist is thickest at night, and many villagers have lost direction amidst the mist, ultimately losing their lives in the mountains. Perhaps it would be better to wait until daylight returns to ascend the mountain." Ningxiu looked up at the mist-hidden mountain towering between heaven and earth, then glanced at Sun Lingtong, and, seeing the latter's indifferent attitude, nodded acknowledgement to the village patrol guard. Then, I'm in your care." Although he possessed the combat power of the Golden Core level, the events with the Lava Fairy Palace had not been too long past, and the various lessons it taught him were vivid in his mind. Ning Xiu was by nature cautious. Since others had said the mountain was dangerous at night, it seemed reasonable for him to go with the flow and spend the night in the mountain village. What harm could there be in that? "Esteemed guests, this way, please," said the smiling man from the patrol, taking the initiative to lead the way. Ning Xiu and Sun Lingtong followed him into the village. Before long, they met with the village elder. The village elder arranged for the two to stay in 2 guest rooms in the center of the mountain village. Ning Xiu handed over 20 spirit stones as payment for the rooms and made arrangements with the village elder to converse over tea at night, to discuss matters regarding Mist-Hidden Mountain. The village elder accepted them naturally. It was only appropriate to do so. The patrol guard had taken a spirit stone from Ning Xiu for the information on the road, and had then changed his mind, inviting Ning Xiu and Sun Ning to stay in the village. "Esteemed guests, this is the unique Mist-Hidden tea of Mist-Hidden Mountain. Although it cannot compare with famous teas, it has its own distinctive character," said the village elder, offering hospitality. Ning Xiu picked up a teacup and saw the deep green tea leaves covered with a layer of white down. A mist rose from the surface of the tea, winding gracefully upwards. Upon tasting, the tea was initially bitter, like the dense mists of the mountains wrapping around the tip of his tongue, but this bitterness vanished in an instant, leaving behind a prolonged aftertaste of tranquility and freshness, as if the mists had dispersed to reveal the peacefulness between the mountain ridges. "It has its own school of thought. Not bad," Ning Xiu commented lightly. On the other hand, Sun Lingtong did not take a sip. For one thing, he had never had any real interest in the elegance of tea drinking. To him, the purpose of tea was simply to quench thirst. On the other hand, if Ning Xiu drank, he would not. After all, they were travelers. This was one of the small understandings between him and Ning Xiu. The three of them exchanged pleasantries while sipping tea. Gradually, Sun Ning and his companion gained a rough understanding of the mountain village. The village had about 300 households, totaling about 1,500 people. The highest cultivation level in the village was at the foundation establishment stage, currently held by the village chief in the late foundation establishment stage. There were 6 elders in the village who all had achieved the foundation establishment level at their peak. Some had suffered severe injuries, and by their later years had fallen back to the Qi refinement realm. But with their experience and contributions, they still commanded the villagers' respect. When it came to the village chief, Sun Lingtong asked where he was. Logically, as foundation establishment cultivators, Ning Xiu and Sun Ning's presence should have warranted a personal welcome from the village chief. But so far, the chief had not appeared. The village elder then informed them that the chief had organized a group to deliver grain. It turns out that 800 li from Mist-Hidden Mountain, there was a Yugang Mountain. This mountain was rich in jade dark steel, and the southern Bean Kingdom had reopened mines there, heavily guarded. Over time, a town had developed. Over the years, the town's population had steadily increased, but Yugang Mountain itself was barren and could not sustain itself. The southern Bean government thus issued orders for the surrounding mountain villages to dispatch manpower and resources, arranging surplus supplies to be continuously sent to the town of Yugang Mountain. The mountain villages were willing to do this. That's because the goods sent to Yugang Town could be exchanged for a substantial amount of money and commercial goods. While it might not lead to a huge profit, even a slight profit on top of meeting the development needs of the village itself was a win-win situation. As night deepened, Ning Xiu voluntarily ended the tea conversation. After the village elder took his leave, he and Sun Lingtong disappeared invisibly, scaling the walls and whispering about the village under cover of darkness. There were patrol personnel nearby where he stayed. But how could the rustic villagers sense the presence of Ning Xiu and Sun Ning? Sun Lingtong hailed from the Bukong sect, skilled in stealth and theft. Ning Xiu possessed the cloud-concealed bud, a rare and exotic plant that could even deceive cultivators at the golden core level, let alone these patrolling villagers. Sun Lingtong and Ning Xiu, side by side, hopped lightly from rooftop to rooftop across the village. The cool night breeze greeted them, and Sun Lingtong conveyed with a voice transmission, "Heh heh, Exhilarating. Little Zhuo, this is the taste of freedom. He had long grown tired of his time at the Lava Fairy Palace. Were it not for his initial concerns for his master and his subsequent concerns for Ning Zhuo, his nature would have led him to leave long ago, wandering freely in the worldly society. Ning Zhuo, too, wore a smile. Since birth, he had lived in the Lava Fairy Palace, and for 14 years, he had been racking his brains to secure his place in the Immortal Palace. Now, with the palace matters temporarily concluded, he set aside the weight from his mind and shoulders, freely navigating under the night sky, feeling a great sense of pleasure. The two found a high spot and instantly halted. Sun Lingtong transmitted a message. Little Zhuo, let's compare our skills in probing with our divine sense. I won't take advantage of you. I'll suppress my cultivation to the early stage of foundation establishment. Ning Zhuo replied, if you're in the mood for elegance, elder brother, then naturally I wouldn't want to dampen your spirits. Heh, chuckled Sun Lingtong, as he immediately released his divine sense. 10 zhang, 30 zhang, 60 zhang. His divine sense continued to expand until it reached 260 zhang and then stopped. His divine sense covered more than half of the village, quietly surveilled for a moment, and then he immediately retracted his divine sense. The speed at which he withdrew his divine sense was astonishingly fast, taking only 3 breaths to fully retract it. More importantly, throughout the entire process of emitting and retracting his divine sense, there was absolutely no leakage of presence, concealed extremely well. Even though Ning Zhuo was right beside Sun Lingtong, he didn't feel any fluctuations whatsoever. It was Ning Zhuo's turn. He slowly released his divine sense. 10 zhang, 20 zhang, 40 zhang. His divine sense expanded to 180 zhang, then could go no further and had to stop. His divine sense covered a little more than half of the mountain village. Many villagers did not guard against such things and remained utterly unaware, allowing Ning Zhuo to see the various arrangements within their homes, as well as their nocturnal activities. He discovered that many villagers worshiped the mountain god. 80% of the shrines, portraits, or small temples for the mountain god were actually for the fox god. Only 20% featured the tiger god. And among those 20%, the majority included the fox god as well. In other words, the tiger god, as a true god, was merely an adjunct. Ning Zhuo carefully retracted his divine sense. He released his divine sense several times slower than Sun Lingtong, and when retracting it, he was dozens of times slower than Sun Lingtong. Sun Lingtong had been watching Ning Zhuo's performance and now slightly frowned. Little Zhuo, although our cultivation levels vary, after practicing the 3 superior sect techniques to cultivate the divine ocean danshan, your divine sense range is only 180 zhang. You wouldn't be hiding your abilities in front of me, would you? Ning Zhuo immediately shook his head. Elder brother, that's really the best I can do. Sun Lingtong was puzzled. That shouldn't be. 150 zhang is the average for a foundation establishment cultivator, and the mirror stand spirit communication technique only reaches 180 zhang. That doesn't make sense. Ning Zhuo smiled slightly, offering an explanation voluntarily. Elder brother, you might not be aware of this. The advantage of the mirror stand spirit communication technique requires the use of external objects to become apparent. According to the transmission of the teaching through the bell sound, I need to refine submirrors. Each submirror can project my divine sense even farther. The material and grade of the submirrors determine the effectiveness of the projection. Should I actually possess enough submirrors, I could cover the entire mist-hidden mountain. However, after numerous projections through the submirrors, the divine sense becomes extremely weakened, and the sensing becomes very indistinct. Sun Lingtong's brows unfurled. So that's how it is. Only then did he relax. The comparison he had just made was only an excuse to help Ning Zhuo better master his divine sense. After all, Ning Zhuo had only recently advanced to the foundation establishment stage, whereas Sun Lingtong had long reached the foundation establishment late stage. A chi-refining cultivator, relying solely on himself, can't spy with his divine thoughts. Even when reading a jade slip, it must be pressed against the forehead. But upon reaching the foundation establishment stage, divine thoughts can condense and sublimate into divine sense. In the foundation establishment early stage, Divine sense commonly extends up to 150 zhang when leaving the body. A cultivator specializing in the divine ocean upper danshan, upon reaching the foundation establishment stage, the range of their divine sense usually exceeds 150 zhang. The better the cultivation technique, the further the distance extend. Sun Lingtong, having suppressed his cultivation level to the foundation establishment early stage, reached a divine sense distance of 260 zhang. The mirror stand spirit communication technique, coming from a master of the three superior sects, managed only 180 zhang, a figure significantly smaller than Sun Lingtong had anticipated. After Ning Zhu's explanation, he came to understand. The mirror stand spirit communication technique, unlike other techniques, needs to be used in conjunction with external objects to truly reveal its advantages. Over the eons, the cultivation world has produced countless wondrous cultivation techniques. Some allow the divine sense to become ethereal and elusive, some sharpen the divine sense to an extreme, and some even develop the divine sense into a means of attack. The divine sense required for the mirror stand spirit communication technique must complement external objects. Although peculiar, it also reflects the principles of the masters of the three superior sects. After all, it's a legacy of mechanisms. Utilizing external objects is the characteristic feature of the upper method. After completing their surveillance, the two quietly returned to their guest room. The villagers noticed nothing. Ning Zhu and Sun Lingtong lay in their beds, using their divine thoughts to penetrate the walls and communicate with each other in whispers, secretly exchanging the information they had gathered. Discussing the numbers of the tiger god and fox god's placards, Sun Lingtong speculated. Both the tiger god and fox god have been officially enshrined as true gods by the southern bean kingdom, enjoying the offerings and incense that greatly enhance their own strength. However, the tiger god seems too weak by comparison. Why would he be indifferent while the fox god ambitiously collects the incense offerings? That's illogical. He hasn't been overshadowed by the fox god, has he? In the present cultivation world, both humans and gods rule together. The human clan is the main body, while gods are scattered throughout the world. Once a cultivation kingdom is established, it often suppresses the various gods within its borders, toppling mountains and destroying temples. Some gods who resist are frequently annihilated, while those who submit are granted the status of official gods, receiving salaries and commands from the cultivation court. A cultivation kingdom in itself very much needs these gods to increase the kingdom's governance. Compared to the human clan, various gods are often simpler in mind, capable of enduring extreme environments, and can leverage their divine power to move clouds, control rain, and channel water to sculpt mountains. And once gods join a cultivation kingdom, they can broadly gather followers, exchange with the outside world, and even cultivate more efficiently with the aid of the kingdom's chief fortune. It's a mutually beneficial relationship based on cooperation and shared victories. The tiger god of Mist-Hidden Mountain was just such an example, but strangely, he seemed to have no desire for incense offerings. As for the fox god, according to the village elders, it had been within the last 10 years that he, having failed to advance to the golden core stage as a wild fox demon cultivator, had his remaining soul's spirit transformed to follow the divine Tao. He managed his affairs very diligently, having significantly more believers than the tiger god. If the trend continued, it was likely that the fox god would eventually supplant the tiger god. At that time, the fox god would become the true mountain god of Mist-Hidden Mountain, while the tiger god would become the deputy. The main point of discussion between Ning Zhuo and Sun Lingtong was to estimate the strength of these two mountain gods. The strength of the tiger god, even at his strongest, probably did not exceed the nascent soul level. If he had the strength of a nascent soul level, the tiger god's sphere of influence would not be limited to just this mist-hidden mountain. The strength of the fox god could be precisely estimated. He had been a foundation establishment-level demon cultivator in his previous life, and he turned to the divine path after his unsuccessful attempt at achieving the golden core. In the initial phase of his transformation to follow the divine path, his combat power should be considered weak among those at the foundation establishment level. However, over the years, he had extensively gathered incense offerings and exerted his authority in his own territory, so his combat power should be estimated a level higher. According to common logic, the fox god should possess the combat power of a golden core level. Don't worry too much, Sun Lingtong said. I am at the Foundation establishment late stage and have spells from the Bukong sect at my side. Even facing golden core cultivators, I have the ability to escape. Little Zhuo, your inherent combat power is not sufficient. If a real fight breaks out, just release the mechanisms. Whether it's the heavy blood ape Da Sheng, the netherworld envoy Chi Bai, or Miss Rudy, all possess quasi-golden core combat power. Not to mention the Buddhist physician and the 10,000 li traveling dragon. Ning Zhuo, however, remained cautious. Boss, don't be careless. Don't forget, we are in the wilderness, not inside the city. In the city, the immortal city Great Array suppresses everything, and the gap between different cultivation levels is drastically reduced. We might even be able to exchange a few moves face-to-face with golden core cultivators just by ourselves. But in the wilderness, without the immortal city Great Array's suppression, the gap between golden core level and quasi-golden core is significant, not to mention for us Foundation establishment cultivators. We should still be cautious. You're thinking too much, little Zhuo. These past years, you've had a hard time, Sun Lingtong said nonchalantly. Taking over the Lava Fairy Palace is too difficult for both you and me. Take it easy. You don't need to worry about the Lava Fairy Palace for now. This is just Mist Hidden Mountain. Both of them are true gods, why would they recklessly strike at us? We are merely searching for something on Mist Hidden Mountain, and we've carefully prepared offerings, not intending to start a battle. This compared to the Fire Persimmon Immortal City is completely different. One is underground, the other is in the heavens. Little Zhuo, you've been too tense, it's time to relax, just treat this as a vacation. Ning Zhuo fell silent for a moment. A vacation, huh? He sighed. Boss, I too hope that things will develop as you expect in the future. The next day, Sun Ning and his companion bid farewell to the village elders and set off directly to climb the mountain. As the sun rose in the east, its soft light filtered through the treetops, casting a soft, golden glow. The mountain mist, like a milky white ribbon, wound around the green pines and cypresses, drifting with the wind, gathering and dispersing unpredictably. The green leaves of the mountain were more lush under the nourishment of morning dew, with translucent dewdrops condensing at the tips of the leaves, a gentle breeze causing them to slide off and sparkle in the morning light. Sun Ning and his partner did not conceal their own aura, and their Foundation establishment cultivation was respectable enough to scare away many wild beasts and spirits. By the time the two reached the front of the Tiger God Temple in the northern part of the mountain, the sun had risen high. The mountain mist had thinned considerably, widening their field of vision. Birds flew freely between the mountains, their chirping resonating around. On the mountainside, there was a large stretch of colorful mountain flowers. The Tiger God Temple was simple and clean with white walls and gray bricks. The temple doors were made of wood, simple and unadorned, with a hanging plaque above inscribed with the words, Night Tiger Mountain Temple, in strong and forceful calligraphy. After paying their respects, Sun Ning and his companion pushed the door open and entered. Inside the small courtyard of the temple, not a soul was in sight, only a large copper incense burner hung with some moss. They continued inside, entering the temple hall, where they saw the statue of the tiger god. He had a tiger's head and a human body, appearing as a formidable man, over 3 meters tall, with a dignified demeanor and piercing eyes. The wooden incense table was immaculately clean. On the table, there was an incense burner and several offerings, all naturally sourced fruits and vegetables from the mountains. The walls were adorned with paintings depicting the tiger god protecting the woods and expelling evil, with vivid imagery. After examining the temple, Ning Zhuo and Sun Lingtong took out the prepared invitation incense, lit it, and placed it in the incense burner. They also set up 3 types of sacrificial offerings. The offerings were of Foundation establishment level, carefully selected. Standing before the statue, Ning Zhuo took out the sacrificial text and recited aloud. In the year of Jia Chen, the 9th autumn of the month, on the day of Xin Hai, at the time of early morning. The Ning clan, though unworthy, carefully prepares 3 types of offerings, incense, paper money, having bathed and changed clothes, solemnly worships before the mountain god temple. Humbly imploring the mountain god's mighty spirit, protect the local area, safeguard all beings, and bless all things. Mountain God's mighty spirit, perceiving the ancient and the modern, knowing of old affairs in the mountains. The Ning clan has a wish, hoping the mountain god will reveal old stories of the mountains, seeking our ancestors' old possessions. Therefore, we worship the mountain god, earnestly pleading for sympathy to borrow divine power to reveal their whereabouts, protect the Ning clan to find them soon. Here I present this offering, humbly seeking your delight. Ning family bows deeply again in respect. The ritual scripture concluded, and a sudden mountain wind arose. Sun Ning and his companion then heard a tiger's roar by their ears, booming like thunder. Instantly, a ghostly figure with a tiger's head emerged from the form, looking down from above at the two men, then opened its mouth and inhaled, drawing an infinite suction that swallowed up the offerings provided by Ning Zhuo. The invitation incense, too, turned to ashes in a blink. After having his fill, the tiger god casually turned and melted back into the statue, leaving only these words. It's accepted. Go seek my deputy, the fox god, and say it was my wish. Let him help you search. The ghostly figure quickly merged back into the statue, and no further anomalies occurred. Ning Zhuo and Sun Lingtong exchanged looks, lost for words. Finding no other option, they embarked on their departure. As soon as they stepped out of the divine temple, the temple doors shut automatically behind them. Ning Zhuo shook his head and sighed. Once they were a distance away, he sent a mental message to Sun Lingtong. I hadn't expected this tiger god to be so lazy. From what I've observed, he likely delegates daily requests to the deputy mountain god. No wonder the fox god nearly monopolizes the worshippers' offerings. Sun Lingtong placed her hands behind her head. Hee, snoozing away when there's nothing pressing, gobbling up offerings when there is, and letting the deputy do the work. Such a life is indeed enviable. Ning Zhuo helplessly added, we have no choice but to go to the fox god temple now. The two headed for the southern mountain and soon reached their destination. The temple was of multi-layered structures and of very high standards. The main gate was grand, supported by vermilion pillars, carved with auspicious cloud patterns and mythical beasts. A large plaque hung above, inscribed with the words Cloud Fox God Temple in gleaming gold, majestic and imposing. As Sun Ning and his companion entered through the main gate, two fox-shaped attendants, clad in Taoist robes and upright on their hind legs, approached to greet and lead them inside to offer incense. Stepping into the main hall, they saw 4 clay statues of divine generals, namely the centipede blade man, scorpion single spear general, sharp-nosed pangolin, and snout weasel. These are the 4 great protector generals under our god, explained the articulate fox guest, providing a proactive introduction. Moving through the main hall to the courtyard, Sun Ning and his companion saw 2 ancient pines, standing one to the left and one to the right, their canopies broad and brimming with vitality. Looking straight ahead, they beheld the main hall with its double-leaved and upturned corners covered with golden tiles, wind chimes hanging, their tinkling sounds melodious, akin to celestial music. Upon entering the main hall, they saw an expansive altar with assorted delicacies offered, incense burners and candle holders all crafted from pure gold with exquisite workmanship. Tall red candles stood on each side of the altar, their light flickering, surrounded by curling incense smoke. The walls inside the hall were decorated with embroidered paintings, narrating legendary stories of the fox god's miraculous protection and blessings. Sun Lingtong sent a mental message to Ning Zhuo, her tone filled with emotion. Without comparison, there would be no hurt. Ning Zhuo's eyes sparkled with determination. Unity of knowledge and action is truly not false. Today's experiences, corresponding with what's written in the books, deepen my understanding. The cultivation of the divine Tao demands loyalty of the human heart. When I lead the Ning clan's branch in the future, I could emulate this place. Ning Zhuo took out the invitation incense and brought out several offerings. This time, just as he lit the incense, the clay statue of the fox god came to life, issuing a gentle voice. What brings the 2 esteemed visitors today? Ning Zhuo then recounted his request. To conclude, he also mentioned the promise he received from the true mountain god after conducting a ritual in the Night Tiger Mountain Temple. The fox god smiled slightly. Even if Lord Night Tiger had not agreed, given your genuine sincerity, I would still offer my assistance. Now, tell me, what exactly are you searching for? This cooperative attitude starkly contrasted with the tiger god. Ning Zhuo said, As for the specific item, I'm not entirely sure. I come from the Ning family. 16 years ago, my family passed through Mist-Hidden Mountain while relocating and got trapped in the mountain mists for several days. I wish to retrieve all the belongings left behind by the Ning family as they passed through this area. I pray the mountain god grants this. The fox god appeared reflective. 16 years ago. I have a profound memory of that time. Then, I was still a Foundation Establishment stage demon cultivator, using the mountain mists to train my innate abilities, fortunate to have received the assistance from a golden core sister, drinking a few sips of cloud tea which enlightened me on the logic within the clouds, boosting my capabilities significantly. Young man, sensing your aura, it remarkably resembles that of my sister. May I ask, what relation do you have with her? Ningzhu exclaimed in surprise. My mother's name is Meng Yayan. I fear she might be the same person you speak of. I didn't expect my mother and the fox god had such an acquaintance. The fox god instantly nodded, joyfully responding. Since you are the child of an old acquaintance, I shall lend all the help I can. May I inquire how your mother is now? Ningzhu replied. My mother has traveled afar. Currently, I am undertaking her tasks, collecting old belongings along the way for predictive calculations. The fox god nodded. I see. I still remember the grace of your mother. Since it is her command, I shall immediately cast spells to search the entire mist-hidden mountain. Please, go rest in the side hall and await good news. True to her words, the fox god acted immediately. In an instant, the mountain fog began thickening visibly, rapidly spreading, covering the entire skies over Mist-Hidden Mountain. Sun Lingtong, peering through the window, observed the extensive white fog and transmitted in a grave tone. This fox god definitely possesses the combat power of a golden core, quite remarkable indeed. Ningzhu murmured. Who would have thought the fox god had connections with my mother? This is wonderful news. After this matter, I must inquire more. Before he could finish, the thickening fog seeped through the cracks of the doors and windows, pressing towards them. The ethereal voice of the fox god floated through. Young friend, long ago your mother gifted me something resembling a petal, which greatly enhanced my innate abilities. Since you are here on her behest, could you perhaps offer another petal as recompense? The white fog was persistent, creeping in from outside and engulfing Sun Lingtong and Ningzhu within the house. Hearing the fox god demand the petal, Sun Lingtong flew into a rage. What a cunning fur god, luring us inside, hiking up the price, coercing us with force. Do you take us for clay figures? Come on, let's see if I don't give you a good thrashing until your ass and head blossom into flowers and tear down this rotten temple. You really think becoming the deputy mountain god gives you the right to lord over others? As Sun Lingtong rolled up his sleeves, baring his chubby little arms and brimming with aggression, the fox god scoffed. Such spirit in a little child. Ningzhu smiled wryly. It seems you, fox god, are quite spirited yourself. Do you not know my clan possesses the double golden core, and still you dare to trouble us? If you were a demon cultivator, that would be one thing, but now you're a mountain god. Wait until our elder comes to teach you a lesson. If you're capable, then take Mist-Hidden Mountain and hide with it. Oh, I forgot. You're only the deputy mountain god, not the official one. Even if the true mountain god agreed, do you have the divine skills to move mountains? The white fog abruptly hesitated. The fox god gave a silly smile. My young friend, you've truly misunderstood me. I never intended to trouble you, I was just a bit too eager. You must understand that searching the entire mist-hidden mountain is a delicate matter. If it were just a cursory glance, any ordinary bird could accomplish it. But to peer into the woods, bushes, and streams, that would require a significant amount of divine power, no small sum. And if one were to delve 8 feet underground, the consumption of divine power would be tremendous, taking at least 3 to 5 months to replenish. Which type of search did you have in mind? Sun Lingtong snorted coldly. After all that talk, you're just looking to haggle. Ningzhu gestured soothingly with his hand at Sun Lingtong. When my mother entrusted me with this task, she did give me some items to facilitate my journey through the various regions. Is this the petal you speak of? With that, Ningzhu curled his tongue, revealing a bud pattern from its base. The pattern emerged and solidified into a small flower bud. The pure white bud, formed entirely of mist, gently dispersed at the edges. It was the cloud-concealed bud. Ningzhu's tongue curled beneath it, encasing the bud and plucking off a single petal. Pressing his tongue down, the cloud-concealed bud returned to a talisman design, inked at the base of his tongue, leaving only the petal on the tip. He opened his mouth and expelled the petal. The white fog surged forward as the fox god exclaimed urgently, "That's it, that's it." Ningzhu inhaled sharply, drawing the petal back into his mouth. "Fox god, go search the mountain." The fox god chuckled coquettishly. "My lord, why not give the petal to me first, and I shall serve you faithfully and to the best of my abilities." Once the cloud concealment petal appeared, the fox god's attitude and tone changed dramatically. Sun Lingtong couldn't help but shiver, rubbing his arms, and commanded with a low voice, "Speak properly." Ningzhu maintained a smile throughout. "Fox god needs not worry. Once the matter is concluded, I will most certainly present the petal to you with both hands. My surname is Ning, and my given name Zhu, just so you know that I'm from the Ning family of the Fire Persimmon Immortal City. I shall not change my name or renege on my promise. By the reputation of the Ning family, I swear that as long as the fox god gives her all, I shall not default on the debt." The fox god fell silent for a while before she said, "Very well, I'll do as you say." The fog within the room gradually receded. Although it left the room, it still blocked the doors and windows. Ningzhu appeared unfazed, setting out a set of teacups on a table within the room and inviting Sun Lingtong to sit before starting to brew tea. The two conversed over tea, their relaxed and composed demeanor exuding great confidence, leaving the fox god feeling for their depth. The fox god exerted her divine power, and the fog swirled around the mountain. She had once dealt with Meng Yayan and knew the Ning family caravan's route from those years past. Following the route, she searched and indeed found some things of interest. "My lord, I have brought what you seek. Have a look." With that, the fox god opened the room's door and the fog dispersed, creating a blank space. Ningzhu and Sun Lingtong looked out to see a pile of old items arranged in the courtyard. There were rusty pots, moldy blankets, fragments of tents, and discarded wheels. Ningzhu probed with his divine sense, pretending to scrutinize carefully before collecting the junk and addressing the fox god. "Not enough, not enough. I must implore the fox god to continue her search." The fox god laughed sweetly. "Please wait a moment, my lord." This time, the fox god exerted her full power, delving 8 feet into the ground along the route of the Ning family caravan, scavenging yet another pile of old items. Wrapped in dense fog, the antiquities were swiftly delivered to the courtyard of the divine temple. "My lord, take a look," puffed the fox god. "Now you should give me that petal, shouldn't you?" After examining the items, Ningzhu began to pack them into his bag, meanwhile speaking. "Still lacking a little, I humbly ask the fox god to exert herself once more." The fox god, frustrated, pressed, "If my lord seeks something specific, I implore you to speak plainly." Ningzhu grimaced with a smile. "Had I been able to be direct, I would have done so already. My mother's instructions were very particular, so I beg the fox god's forgiveness and understanding." The fox god marshaled her divine power, stirring up a rolling mist that nearly obscured Mist-Hidden Mountain completely. Such a miraculous scene stunned the villagers of Mist-Hidden Village, with many falling to their knees on the spot, calling out to divine miracles and incessantly praising the name of the fox god. This time, the cloud fox brought back fewer items. Her voice revealed her fatigue. "I have exerted my utmost already, my divine power greatly diminished." Even if the true mountain god himself were to act, he could but arrive at the same result. "Hand over that petal to me." Ningzhu checked again, gathering up the broken ceramics, damaged medicinal herbs, destroyed mechanisms, and assorted jewelry made of gold, silver, and agate. "Fox god, the item I seek is not among these," Ningzhu said. The fox god's voice turned cold. "Young man, did you not hear what I just said?" Ningzhu insisted. "I heard you very clearly. Although there are many things here, the targeted item is not among them." The fox god was quite displeased. "What exactly is this thing your mother asked you to retrieve? If you don't tell me, how can I help you? Even now you still keep secrets." Ningzhu shook his head. "Fox god, I am not deceiving you. My mother did not specify, only saying that I would sense it upon contact. I hope the fox god can try again. Once I report back to my mother, I will definitely repay you." The fox god laughed in anger. "Boy, are you playing with me? Who has the patience to search through this pile of trash for you? Quickly hand over the petal, I will forgive your trespasses. If you do not give it, do not blame me for being rude to you both." Sun Lingtong sneered. beckoning the pervasive mountain mist with her index finger. Come on then, you think too highly of yourself for a mere fur god. The fox god, infuriated and desperate. A child lacking upbringing, I shall discipline you in place of your elders. The clouds surged forward but were dispersed with a wave of Ningzhu's hand. Fox god, please quell your anger. We are merely in search of an old object, not intending to trouble you, Ningzhu said. The fox god replied, if that's the case, produce the petal. With a wry smile and a shake of his head, Ningzhu indicated that he was unable to comply. Teeth clenched in fury, the fox god squeezed out a thin, cold sneer. You two little brats, you really think gods are at the beck and call of your great families, so easily commanded. Today I will teach you a profound lesson, so you understand the proper way to treat gods. Whoosh. A gust of wind whipped up the fog, rushing towards Ningzhu and Sun Lingtong in the courtyard. Unafraid in the face of danger, Ningzhu and Sun Lingtong were well prepared. The next moment, Miss Rudy appeared, letting out a delicate cry, her butterfly wings shimmering slightly as she deployed a defensive magic array. The mountain mist surged violently, like a tsunami bearing down, only to be stopped by an invisible wall, unable to advance further by even an inch. Not only that, but as the array rapidly expanded, the clouds were repelled, pushed back. The fox god gave a light yelp, then immediately exhibited divine power, drawing upon the forces of heaven and earth. As the deputy mountain god, Mist Hidden Mountain was her domain, providing her with a powerful home field advantage. In the next moment, the pressure of heaven and earth enveloped the array from all directions. The expansion of the array came to an abrupt halt, and Miss Rudy grunted, her body trembling slightly. The two sides became locked in a stalemate. The voice of the fox god, cold and penetrating, echoed across the mist-covered battlefield. Where is my servant? Old Wu is here. You two thieves, taste my axe. From the east, a centipede demon cultivator over 9 feet tall, with human legs and arms brandishing 2 axes, burst through the fog, charging and slashing. From the west, a devil scorpion covered in black iron battle armor appeared, wielding a steel spear for a fierce jab. From the north, a sharp-nosed pangolin the size of a carriage, its body a silvery gray color, charged with a heavy momentum. And from the south, a normal-sized weasel with bared teeth and a sinister expression appeared, screeching oddly, casting spells, lifting stones and spraying them out. They were the centipede blade man, scorpion single spear general, sharp-nosed pangolin and snout weasel, the 4 divine generals Ningzhu had seen earlier in the front hall. They were the fox god's 4 able assistants. The 4 generals attacked the defense magic array erected by Miss Rudy, chopping and jabbing fiercely. Miss Rudy's trembling intensified, making it even more difficult to maintain the array. Sun Lingtong, of course, would not stand idly by. Holding daggers in both hands, he charged into the fray. His figure flickering in and out of view, he pounced on the weasel general. At first, the weasel general, relying on its spells, aimed to counter Sun Lingtong and drive him back. But Sun Lingtong, with his spirit sensitivity, invoked teleportation art and appeared next to the weasel general, his small dagger striking fiercely. The weasel general felt a chilling sensation all over its body. Then, agony ensued, blood spurted, and it was gravely injured on the spot. It let out a horrified cry and scurried to escape. Sun Lingtong was not about to let it go and prepared to deliver the final blow when suddenly the fog surged, enveloping and whisking away the weasel general before Sun Lingtong could act. With a cold snort, Sun Lingtong dared not venture deeper into the fog. He turned and charged at the sharp-nosed pangolin. His choice of attack was deliberate. Among the 4 divine generals under the fox god, all were demon cultivators. The centipede blade man and the scorpion single spear general, who both had human-like forms and a higher degree of transformation, were clearly more powerful than the other 2 generals. The pangolin and weasel, although they both possessed Foundation establishment-level battle prowess, had yet to show signs of undergoing transformation. The pangolin's skin was rough and its flesh thick. Sun Lingtong executed his sword skill, the blades light flitting like butterfly wings, directly shattering the pangolin's eyeballs. The pangolin wailed in pain, curled up into a ball, and rolled back into the mountain mist. In just a few breaths' time, Sun Lingtong had already defeated 2 generals and was charging towards the scorpion single spear general. The spear skill of the scorpion single spear general wasn't bad. He managed to fight Sun Lingtong for 5 or 6 rounds before he could no longer hold on and was forced into close range by Sun Lingtong. Dagger strokes raised trails of cold light, severing the scorpion's fingertips. The long spear thus fell to the ground. The scorpion's single spear general quickly drew back his hands, rolled on the spot, and returned to his original form. His scorpion tail pointed high, he stung with all his might. The speed was so fast that it turned into a blur midair. Sun Lingtong sneered coldly, the opponent's attack clearly visible in his divine sense eyes. But at the critical moment, the fox god suddenly cast divine arts, greatly distracting Sun Lingtong. Sun Lingtong couldn't dodge in time and could only manage to turn his body to the side. The scorpion's tail struck his left arm, and the poison immediately began to corrode it. With his left arm weakened, Sun Lingtong dropped his dagger and retreated explosively into the array, swiftly utilizing his power to suppress and halt the spread of the potent poison, swallowing several elixir pills in succession to control the damage of the injury. Boss! Ningzhu saw Sun Lingtong was injured and his face immediately filled with anger. He slapped his storage waist belt, releasing more than 30 mechanical fireworks monkeys. These fireworks monkeys were connected by strings, and upon landing on the ground, leaped out of the array and pounced on the black scorpions outside the formation. Boom, boom, boom. A round of self-detonations left the black scorpion with its hide cracked and flesh split, one of its claws blown off, critically wounded and near death. The fox god used the same trick again, using the mountain mist to draw back the black scorpion. Ningzhu sneered coldly, driving the mechanical fireworks monkeys to pursue. Sun Lingtong did not dare enter so deeply, but these mechanical fireworks monkeys were expendables, and their loss was of no concern. The fireworks monkeys went straight in deep. Suddenly, from within the mountain mist, sharp glints flew, severing one string after another. Yet the fireworks monkeys were unaffected and continued their headlong charge, self-detonating upon encountering the black scorpion. The black scorpion, amidst the explosions, turned into a lump of mountain mist, an illusory target created by the fox god casting divine arts. I severed the strings, and the mountain fog severely obstructed his divine sense. How can these mechanical monkeys still be operational? The fox god wondered in shock. Ningzhu released another batch of fireworks monkeys. The fireworks monkeys surrounded the centipede blade man, scaring him into yelling, dropping his axes, and crawling on his hands and feet on the ground like a centipede, swiftly dodging away into the dense mountain mist. Ningzhu drove the fireworks monkeys to closely pursue him. Though the fox god cut the strings and isolated Ningzhu's divine sense, and he was certain that there was no staff head inside the monkeys, he still saw that the monkeys were energetic and highly responsive, plunging him into deep perplexity. Innate talent, clouds and mists. The fox god activated his innate talent, immediately causing the vast mountain mist to undergo a strange and mysterious change. Just as Ningzhu was about to control the mechanical fireworks monkeys to self-detonate, his finger ring suddenly tightened slightly. Ningzhu stopped his movements, and the next moment, he saw mechanical fireworks monkeys rushing out of the mountain mist and crashing into the array. Ningzhu's pupils constricted. If he had been even a moment slower, allowing the fireworks monkeys to self-detonate, he would have been figuratively lifting a rock only to drop it on his own feet, subjecting his own array to a fierce attack. With a thought from Ningzhu, he once again controlled the mechanical fireworks monkeys and sent them into the mountain mist. But the moment they entered the mountain mist, the mechanic fireworks monkeys immediately lost their sense of direction, not knowing north from south, east from west. Although they thought they were moving in a straight line, they were in fact circling the same spot. Ningzhu wanted to control the fireworks monkeys to return. In his perception, they were definitely taking a straight line back, yet the fireworks monkeys couldn't find their way out no matter what. Making a quick decision, Ningzhu temporarily gave up on these fireworks monkeys and released mechanical floating hands, casting spells. One spell after another was released. Fiery fire, rolling stone, leaf dart, water arrow, golden needle, all plunged into the mountain mist, immediately vanishing without a trace with no sound or light visible. What a dense fog! Ningzhu's attempt to probe failed again, and he immediately stopped casting spells, releasing a mechanical spherical device. It was none other than the weather balloon ice crystal snow. The ice crystal snow emitted a strong, cold current, spreading into the mountain mist. Wherever it went, the mist condensed into frost patterns, drifting about. The mountain mist quickly weakened. The fox god chuckled lightly. Interesting, then I'll use 30% of my strength. The next moment, the mountain mist abruptly thickened again, restoring its former appearance. Ningzhu sneered, "It's not over yet." With a thought, he reached into his storage waist belt and pulled out a ghost, tossing it to the weather balloon ice crystal snow. Innate talent, snow soul frost spirit. The spirituality within the weather balloon ice crystal snow originated from Ningzai, inherently possessed snow soul frost spirit as its innate talent. The ghost, used as fuel for the innate talent, quickly dissipated. The cold current emitted by the weather balloon ice crystal snow grew several times more intense, once again causing the mountain mist to condense into ice and continually fall. The fox god snorted coldly, continuing to increase his power. Just as the mountain mist was about to be restored, Ningzhu slapped his waist belt, releasing a cloud of vapor. The cloud was blue and white on the bottom, emitting cold air, floating in the air, snowflakes falling along its path. It was cold snow cloud. Ningzhu had purchased 5 clouds from Cloud City, one of which was this one. Cold snow cloud enveloped the weather balloon ice crystal snow. Though it was only at the magic artifact level, it harmoniously enhanced the effect of the weather balloon ice crystal snow. Hence, the cold current amplified further, causing the mountain fog to condense into frost flowers and gradually clear. How dare a mere foundation establishment level mechanism try to dispel my magic fog? The fox god, incited with heart-chi strength, shouted charmingly, putting forth all her effort. The next moment, the mountain fog surged violently, rolling forth oppressively. Crack! A clap of thunder exploded, and a streak of blue light suddenly shone through the cloud. "Ha ha ha, I got it!" Sun Lingtong laughed exultantly. "So you really took my dagger? Did you think my belongings were so easily taken? Ha ha ha." He had already healed himself, though his face was somewhat swollen. Slaying God with saber technique, he had lost his dagger within the mountain fog, which was picked up by the fox god. Caught off guard, it triggered an explosive attack from the dagger by Sun Lingtong. Slaying God with saber technique was particularly lethal against divine beings, brilliantly complementing the immortal slaying sword technique. Both techniques were extremely classic, and every cultivator who practiced swordsmanship or saber techniques aspired to learn them. Sadly, the difficulty of these techniques was immense, and only those with exceptional spiritual nature could possibly master them. Clearly, Sun Lingtong was one of them. "I must have wounded it. Ah, this fog is indeed troublesome," murmured Sun Lingtong, who had long activated his Lingtong innate ability, but the thick mountain fog allowed him to see only 3 feet ahead. "You have utterly enraged me," the fox god shrieked sharply, devoid of her prior grace. From her reaction, it was clear that Sun Lingtong had indeed delivered a fierce blow. Sun Lingtong's face turned stern as he braced himself for the ensuing battle. Ningzhu then pulled out his mechanical sickle, readying himself for an all-out fight. The mountain fog rose higher, blocking out the sun, suddenly halted, and a low exclamation from the fox god came. "Big snake scythe!" The fog froze. Silence suddenly fell over the battlefield. After a moment of silence, the fox god spoke in a soft tone. "Young Ningzhu, so your mother had even entrusted the big snake scythe to you. No wonder she was reassured to let you travel abroad." Immediately, the mountain fog dissipated as quickly as rushing tide water. Ningzhu and Sun Lingtong saw the sun again, surprised to find themselves no longer in the fox god temple, but on the side of the mountain. The mountain fog enveloped the array, having transported them out directly. The fox god revealed her true form, emerging suspended from the mountain fog. Her hair, white as snow, cascaded over her shoulders, and she was clad in a white robe, ethereal as an exiled immortal. Her figure was graceful, elegant, and behind her, foxtails fluttered lightly, ethereal as clouds, moving with inherent charm. The only imperfection was a dagger stuck in her ample bosom. The dagger emitted a blue glow like thunder, hissing lightly. The fox god grasped the handle firmly and pulled the dagger out. During this process, the light from the dagger flickered like electricity, binding to the wound, fiercely sucking in the dagger, creating a massive pulling force. The fox god snorted coldly, forcefully exerting strength, breaking off the electric light of the blade. She tossed the dagger back to Sun Lingtong, and the wound on her chest quickly became shrouded by mountain fog, healing instantly. Sun Lingtong fell into silence. Evidently, the fox god possessed the combat power of the golden core level. The slaying god saber technique, one of Sun Lingtong's strongest moves, had minimal success. The fox god looked at Ningzhuo, her gaze lingering momentarily on the mechanical sickle in his hand, her face slightly smiling. Worthy of being Meng Yeyan's child. Just now, this deity couldn't resist testing you both, not truly intending difficulty for you too. Oh, Ningzhu uttered, releasing the cloud-concealing petal from his mouth. Does the noble fox god no longer want this payment? The smile on fox god's face became somewhat forced. Young master, you took it seriously, haha. Ningzhuo and Sun Lingtong exchanged looks. Neither had expected the big snake scythe to intimidate the fox god so significantly. Since that's the case, then we will take our leave, said Ningzhuo. The fox god nodded, eagerly watching as Ningzhuo swallowed the petal again. She suppressed herself. Go on, then. Watching the two steadily moving farther away, the fox god suddenly spoke. Wait a moment, young Ningzhuo. Ningzhuo and Sun Lingtong stopped instantly, turned around, and were on full alert. The fox god smiled. No need to panic. I merely wish to share some truthful information. The entire mist-hidden mountain has nearly been scavenged by me, except for a valley in Shanxi which is beyond my reach. If you two still haven't found your target, it's likely hidden there. Ningzhuo's curiosity piqued, prompting him to inquire more. The fox god shook her head slightly, waved a sleeve, transforming into mountain fog, dispersing on the spot. Ningzhuo and Sun Lingtong both took out their somersault clouds, directly flying away from the cloud fox mountain god temple. Far away, Ningzhuo finally stowed the mechanical sickle. He held his breath and focused, dispelling the irritability and murderous intent within his mind. This night rain demon weapon is indeed sinister, too heavy with the intent to kill. I haven't yet used it against a true enemy. Merely holding it for a moment affects my inner peace. Ningzhuo inwardly startled. Sun Lingtong transmitted a message. Little Zhuo, what should we do next? Should we go to the Shanxi Valley? I always feel that Fox God has ulterior motives. Ningzhuo shared the sentiment with Sun Lingtong. A deputy mountain god incapable of investigating a certain area of mist-hidden mountain seemed too far-fetched. Ningzhuo inquired, and the fox god acted as if there was much she concealed, hinting at a potential lure. But, concerning his mother, Ningzhuo, aware he might be falling into a trap, was determined to uncover the truth. Ningzhuo decided to explore the Shanxi Valley. Sun Lingtong sensed the scent of adventure and immediately shouted, Little Zhuo, cover for me. I'll go investigate myself. The two first rode the flowing clouds, moving away from mist-hidden mountain. Upon landing in a corner, Ningzhuo pulled out the 10,000-li traveling dragon from his waist. The eyes of the 10,000-li traveling dragon emitted a strange light, enveloping Ningzhuo and Sun Lingtong. Within this strange light, the figures of the two men rapidly shrunk. Following the beam of light in just a few breaths, they entered into the 10,000-li traveling dragon. Moments later, the two piloted the 10,000-li traveling dragon back to Mist-Hidden Mountain. Sun Lingtong frowned and sighed. This isn't fun at all. Looking at Ningzhuo, who was seriously controlling the mechanism beside him. Little Zhuo is good at everything, but just too cautious. Gradually, they flew over into the Shanxi Valley, solar light gradually swallowed by towering cliffs, and the surroundings grew increasingly cold. Moss-covered rocks, pervasive dampness, and dull soil. Towering cliffs, ancient trees intermingling, the mountain winds blowing softly, causing a faint rustling sound from the leaves as if whispering softly. As the 10,000-li traveling dragon moved deeper, the light grew darker, and the heavy, musty smell of the soil seemed to clog their breaths and nostrils, giving a suffocating sensation. The blotchy shadows of the trees grew increasingly bizarre, with fog coiling around, creating an eerie, demonic atmosphere. Look over there, Sun Lingtong pointed. In the image formed by spells, there lay a patch of glaringly white land. The 10,000-li traveling dragon stealthily moved closer and found it was a massive pile of bones covering a wide area. Numerous bones of wild animals and humans were haphazardly stacked. Ningzhuo glanced and immediately spotted hundreds of human skeletons, his expression growing solemn. This was only the exterior of the bone pile. there must be even more human remains inside. This is a sign of the deployment of some demonic skill. There must be at least one demon cultivator here, Ningzhu concluded after examining the bones. Sun Lingtong analyzed. Among the remains are many Foundation establishment-level demon beasts. The demon cultivator here must be powerful, at least at the golden core level. Ningzhu frowned slightly. If the demon cultivator is hiding here, logically, if the fox god couldn't handle it alone, he should have reported it. Why didn't he do so and instead gave us the clues? He maneuvered the 10,000-li traveling dragon, now nearly invisible like a small fly, brushing the ground and flying through the weeds, moving deeper. As they neared the valley floor, he saw two guards. One was a coiled giant python, and the other a resting gray wolf. Both emitted auras of the Foundation establishment level. The gray wolf's eyes were spirited, glowing brightly, while the python continuously flicked out its tongue, emitting some sort of demon art to scan the surroundings. These were behaviors that ordinary demon beasts couldn't achieve. Both were demon cultivators. Though they had not transformed into human form, their mastery of demon arts meant their threats were multiplied several times compared to ordinary demon beasts. Ningzhu propelled the 10,000-li traveling dragon, concealed its form, and boldly walked past the two demon cultivators. Upon entering the valley's floor, numerous demon cultivators were practicing, frolicking, and feeding. Wolves, snakes, tigers, leopards, bears, wild boars, among others, were ferociously varied in appearance. The air reeked with a foul smell. On a high platform lay a giant black tiger, as large as an elephant. The black tiger, robust and rugged, was exhaling. Each breath was so powerful that it stirred a whirlwind. As they say, clouds follow the dragon and wind follows the tiger. The swirling breeze hinted at the tiger's formidable strength. A golden core level black tiger demon cultivator, why does he look so familiar? Sun Lingtong frowned. Ningzhu spoke up. The night tiger true mountain god. Sun Lingtong suddenly realized, right, they do look alike. However, clearly, they were not the same tiger. The tiger god's physical body had perished hundreds of years ago, and to stay in the mortal world, it had transformed into a spirit. In comparison, the adult black tiger in front of them was full of life, its life force still young, feeling somewhere between youth and middle age. The black tiger slowly opened its eyes and suddenly roared in a low voice. "Where's my blood food?" "Coming, coming, your majesty!" A human cultivator sprinted from a cave. He was dark-skinned and dressed in tattered clothes, holding a hidden corpse bag. Turning the bag upside down, he dumped a large number of corpses. The black tiger opened its maw, and with a powerful suction, swallowed many of the corpses, continuously chewing. Its robust lower jaw slightly trembled, tight teeth firmly gripping the tender meat that tore and mashed under its maw. Each chew generated a deep noise as muscle and bones rubbed together, the sounds of breaking bones incessant. Blood leaked from the gaps in the black tiger's teeth, trickling down its chin. A strong odor of blood rapidly spread throughout the area. The demon cultivators who smelled the blood chi instinctively gathered around the high platform, eagerly watching the black tiger feed, all displaying a desire. The black tiger consumed 30% of the corpses, and its belly visibly bulged. Then it activated its cultivation technique to digest. Demon skill, meat shield blood swallowing technique. Ningzhu and Sun Lingtong both recognized it. The meat shield blood swallowing technique was a widely known demon skill, which promoted one's own physical body by consuming the blood and flesh of other lives, making its muscles bulge and its essence blood thrive. As the demon skill was activated, the black tiger's belly visibly shrank at a visible rate and soon flattened out again. It continued to devour, and after another 30%, it repeated the process, activating its cultivation technique, and cultivated. After it finished cultivating, the black tiger burped contentedly and lazily said, "I'll distribute it now." The demon cultivators, having received permission, howled and shrieked, pouncing on the pile of corpses and gorged themselves. For a moment, the demon beasts pushed and shoved each other, scrambling frantically, plunging into conflict for blood food, and the stench of blood spread even more amid the chaos. The black tiger squinted its eyes, listening to the clamor, enjoying the struggles of its subordinates. Several weaker demon cultivators inadvertently exposed flaws while fighting for food and were heavily injured in sneak attacks. Immediately, the surrounding demon cultivators marked them as new prey. driven by hunger and greed, mercilessly encircled and attacked them, using their own kind as food to satisfy their hunger. The only human cultivator on the scene, his face full of terror, cowered and stood beside the black tiger, seeking to preserve his life. Yet he dared not rely too much on it, fearing to annoy the black tiger and be smacked to death with a paw. Sun Lingtong and Ning Zhu witnessed all this, their expressions grim. A night tiger demon cultivator at the golden core level, and many demon cultivators, mainly at the foundation establishment level. Ning Zhu estimated the strength of the group. They can all be killed. Sun Lingtong gritted his teeth, hatred gleaming in his eyes. Every man-eating beast deserves to die. Ning Zhu knew the reason. Sun Lingtong's former village was the one ravaged and slaughtered by demon cultivators. At that time he was very lucky, picked up by his master, narrowly escaping disaster. Sun Lingtong said, "Although the black tiger devil is at the golden core level, I got several bottles of strange poison from Yang Chanyu, including one that is colorless and tasteless, which can be placed in the corpses. When it consumes the corpse and operates its cultivation technique, there will be a good show. We have the element of surprise, and it's not impossible to win." Ning Zhu frowned slightly. "Boss, no need to rush, let me think for a moment." He paced back and forth in the dragon head cabin with his hands behind his back and then decided, "Let's spare this devil's life for now. We need to find out more information." Sun Lingtong raised his eyebrows. "What are you thinking?" Ning Zhu half comforted and half explained. "Boss, think about it. How could a black tiger devil at the golden core level hide for so long? It consumes so much in one meal, and the cultivation of demon skills consumes a lot. There would be a significant impact if it scavenged around Mist-Hidden Mountain." Sun Lingtong immediately grasped Ning Zhu's point and continued. "Yet Mist-Hidden Mountain has no demonic miasma, all is harmonious. When we entered Mist-Hidden Village, we didn't hear about villagers being extensively slaughtered. This means this group of devils deliberately restrained themselves, not eating near their lair but went out to hunt instead." Ning Zhu nodded. "Therefore, they must have caused other disturbances. We just don't know it yet. Perhaps they already are on a wanted list. Attacking rashly carries many risks. Why not check the wanted list, gather some intelligence, and then take action? Isn't that more secure?" Sun Lingtong nodded. "That makes sense." Although he was eager, he understood the importance and would not lose the big picture over small gains. After discussing, they maneuvered the 10,000-li traveling dragon and left Mist-Hidden Mountain. Ning Zhu activated the mechanism's ability to traverse the void, quickly arriving at Yugang Mountain. Yugang Mountain stood towering, and because it was rich in jade dark steel, the soil showed a hue of green jade. From a distance, the entire mountain was lush and vibrant, as if a giant was draped in a jade garment. Streams gurgled in between the mountains as if softly plucked on an ancient zither, resonating crisply. The mountain rocks were sturdy and shimmering, all possessing the hue of jade. The mountain had been excavated multiple times, revealing layers of open-air ore deposits. Inside the 10,000-li traveling dragon, Ning Zhu and Sun Lingtong looked down to see many miners, like ants, diligently digging in the deposits, tirelessly. The mountain and ore deposits were densely filled with various-sized mining tunnels. The deep mining paths were complex like a vast net, extending deep into the belly of the mountain. Halfway up the mountain, there was a small town. The town was surrounded by towering walls, paired with mechanical guardian towers, and constantly guarded by numerous cultivators at critical spots. The town had many large outdoor smelting furnaces, constantly refining ores, causing thick smoke that never dissipated. Sun Ning and his companion left the 10,000-li traveling dragon, made slight adjustments to their appearance, and disguised as two middle-aged loose cultivators, one tall and the other short, entering the mountain town together. The guard at the gate immediately stopped them. "The price list is posted there. Read it, pay the fee, then you may enter the town." Clearly, the guard mistook Sun Ning and his companion as loose cultivators, coming to mine in Yugang Mountain. Sun Ning and his companion approached the foot of the city wall and saw the price list posted on the wall. The price list was quite detailed. The content read, 50 low-grade spirit stones, grants access to the first underground level of the ore deposit for mining, time limit 1 day. Below the price list, numerous detailed rules were written in small characters. For example, the deeper one goes into the mine, the more spirit stones are required, and the shorter the time limit. Moreover, the ore mined by cultivators must not be hoarded. It should be presented in full at the time of extraction for inspection. Yugang Town will take 50%, leaving the other 50% for the cultivators. Ajuo, quick, look here, just as you suspected, Sun Lingtong transmitted to Ning Zhuo. Ning Zhuo gave up studying the price list and turned his head, only to see a wanted poster for that demon black-winged tiger. The poster depicted the black tiger baring its teeth, viscous blood flowing from between them. The painter was skilled and captured the unique temperament of this demon. Black-winged tiger demons, Ning Zhuo muttered under his breath, softly reading the name listed on the wanted poster. Besides it, there were several other demon cultivators that were quite familiar to Ning Zhuo. Upon closer inspection, he recognized them as members of the group of demon cultivators he had seen in the valley. They were extremely strong and domineering when competing for blood food, serving as small leaders under the command of the black-winged tiger demon. There is also that human cultivator, Sun Lingtong added, his observational abilities far surpassing Ning Zhuo's. In Shanxi Valley, there was only one human clan cultivator, a foundation establishment stage cultivator, used as a servant by the tiger demon. Ning Zhuo looked in the direction of the sound and unexpectedly discovered that this human clan cultivator was not listed on the wanted poster, but was instead part of a missing person notice. The human cultivator, named Shisui and skilled in earth element magic, was the son of the former town leader. Since the black-winged tiger demon led an attack on the town, killing many cultivators including the previous leader, Shisui had been missing since the battle, nowhere to be found. Sun Lingtong said, that tiger demon was powerful enough to assault the town. Shisui must have been captured in that battle, held in Shanxi Valley all this time, not killed but used as a servant to attend to the tiger demon. Next, we poison the tiger demon and Shisui might serve as our inside man. After all, his father died at the hands of the tiger demon. I thought he was a traitor. Sun Lingtong looked at Ning Zhuo, smiling. If we kill the black-winged tiger demon, there is also a bounty to be claimed. Not bad, not bad. Should we accept the mission now? However, Ning Zhuo stopped him. Boss, no hurry, let's explore the town first. I'll listen to you, Sun Lingtong said. Since the Lava Fairy Palace incident, Sun Lingtong had fully realized Ning Zhuo's strategical prowess. He had the self-awareness to recognize that in terms of schemes and tactics, this younger brother he had nurtured was far more cunning and treacherous than himself. The two then disguised themselves as loose cultivators mining for ores, each paying 50 spirit stones to enter the town. Inside the town, streets were broad, with massive mechanical cars traveling back and forth. Lining the streets stood simple stone houses that sparkled with jade light under the sun, clearly made by the cultivators using local materials. The town was bustling with people. The voices of vendors and the laughter of miners mingled together. Many cultivators walked around shirtless, their muscles bulging and their voices rough and bold, clearly body cultivators. Besides them, there were mainly gold and earth cultivators. These three types of cultivators were most suited to work as miners. Ning Zhuo and Sun Lingtong first went to a tea house, ordered some jade rhinoceros beef, and 3 measures of jade dew wine, eating and drinking while listening to the discussions among the cultivators. By the time the server brought the food, Ning Zhuo also handed him a spirit stone as payment for information. After some inquiry, the two learned many details about the town. For instance, the previous town leader, surnamed Shi, was harsh and petty, severely punishing any cultivator found smuggling anything, showing no mercy. Conversely, the current leader, Meng Zizhang from the noble Meng family of southern Bean country, was magnanimous and lenient, diligently training his soldiers and enjoying martial glory. He often led cultivators out of the town to sweep the area around Yugang Mountain, clearing all threatening demon beasts and demon cultivators, very responsible indeed. His strong martial prowess also provided the townspeople with a sense of security. In terms of reputation, he was much better than his predecessor. Sun Lingtong said, Meng Zizhang, born into the Meng family, is renowned for his martial spirit. Considering his ongoing efforts to hunt the night-wind tiger demon shown by the posted wanted lists, he would surely support us, and provide detailed information about the demon after we accept the mission. Ningxiu pondered for a moment, then shook his head slightly. No rush, boss. Since we're here, let's visit the mine. Sun Lingtong exclaimed. Just 100 low-grade crystal stones. Are you still concerned about this small amount? Ningxiu smiled. From childhood to now, I've never mined like this before. Sun Lingtong, resting his head on his hands, said, You're still too young. What's so fun about mining? Not long after, the two were mining at the first mining level. Quick, look what I've found. Such a big piece of jade dark steel, Sun Lingtong boasted. Amazing, boss, Ningxiu smiled lightly. Look here, I knew something was off about this spot. After breaking through the jade steel, guess what I found? Sun Lingtong took out an accompanying ore, showing off. It was a piece of Biluo stone, seemingly waxy and gray, used as a classical color ink ingredient in the cultivation 100 skills art. Ningxiu gave a thumbs up. Sun Lingtong grinned, rubbing his hands together excitedly, and dove back onto the mining bed. His face was almost flush against the stone surface, his eyes sparkling with spirit light. He was using his innate spiritual eyes, which allowed him to analyze more precisely, penetrate deeper, and discover more and better quality ores. Sun Lingtong dug and dug, immersing himself in the task. When Ningxiu practically dragged him out, Sun Lingtong was still somewhat reluctant to leave. We haven't used up our time limit yet, 50 spirit stones each. We should at least break even. Boss, you've already broken even, haven't you? Ningxiu communicated telepathically while approaching the overseer to present the mined ore. The overseer picked some ores and then shone a magic artifact over Ningxiu's entire body before waving him off. Sun Lingtong had hidden many precious accompanying ores and only handed over some jade dark steel ores. The overseer, unable to detect them with the magic artifact, similarly waved Sun Lingtong off. Sun Ning walked down the streets together. Ningxiu telepathically sighed. Yugang Mountain is uniquely endowed, containing such abundant jade dark steel. If one person monopolized it, that mountain alone could help them grow and expand, forming a large cultivation family. Sun Lingtong shrugged. Yugang Mountain is good, but it pales in comparison to Fire Persimmon Mountain. It can only support a mountain town, whereas the resources in Fire Persimmon Mountain could sustain an entire immortal city. The resources inside Fire Persimmon Mountain are endless, continuously cycling. Yugang Mountain loses its essence with each extraction and cannot last. Ningxiu shook his head slightly. Boss, you still don't understand what I mean. Let me be clear, I am a branch clan leader of the Ning clan. Sadly, my branch has just been established and is in dire need of development. What can a few minor positions at Lava Fairy Palace amount to? There's no reliable family business. What do you think about Yugang Mountain? Sun Lingtong, baffled, didn't understand why Ningxiu suddenly brought this up. Weren't we supposed to be collecting your mother's relics? We discovered the Black Wind Tiger demon, and only by eliminating him can we possibly get what we want. How come you're interested in Yugang Mountain now? What's this all about? Ningxiu's smile deepened. It's all part of the act. Seeing that Ningxiu was serious, Sun Lingtong considered his plan and felt quite troubled after thinking for a while. This town is guarded by Meng Zizhang, who has a very solid background. How do you plan to overthrow him? And how can your branch get involved? Ningxiu's gaze deepened. What if we created some evidence to prove that Meng Zizhang secretly colludes with the Black Wind Tiger demon? Sun Lingtong responded. You want to frame him? That's difficult and not easy to do. Don't forget the Divine Hunter Office's trace origin technique. Ningxiu chuckled. Boss, I want to try. Sun Lingtong felt excited. I already feel that this will be very interesting and thrilling. Thus, the two left the mountain town and used the 10,000-li traveling dragon to return to Mist-Hidden Mountain. The mechanical dragon burrowed deep into a valley and discovered human cultivation's stone shards. Sun Lingtong acted swiftly, knocked it unconscious, and stuffed it into the 10,000-li traveling dragon. The duo returned to Yugang Mountain and released the Shisui. Ningxiu executed the life-hanging divine power on the Shisui. When Shisui regained consciousness, he found himself having miraculously escaped death and was extremely shocked. Seizing the opportunity, Ningxiu sent a message. Posing as a worldly expert, he told Shisui it was he who had rescued him, but fearing trouble, wished not to disrupt his reclusive life. Thus he brought Shisui to Yugang Mountain and advised him to report to Meng Zizhang. Shisui, overwhelmed with joy, immediately kowtowed several times and then barged into Meng Zizhang's mansion. Ignoring the gatekeeper's attempts to stop him, he entered the courtyard and began shouting loudly. Thus, he alarmed Meng Zizhang. Meng Zizhang led Shisui into the study and inquired meticulously. Shisui, highly emotional, spilt everything he knew. Meng Zizhang asked, "Was it really you who ran away?" Shisui, adhering to the worldly expert's advice, didn't reveal the latter's identity, confidently nodded, and explained that he had prepared for years and finally seized the opportunity a few days ago to run for his life all the way to Yugeng Mountain, seeking justice from the southern Bean country to avenge his grievances. "Meng Lord, when will you dispatch troops?" Shisui looked hopeful. Puff. A knife penetrated Shisui's chest. Shisui was utterly shocked, staring at the hand on the knife handle, then followed the arm upwards and saw Meng Zizhang's face. You. The next moment, Shisui died. In the 10,000 Li traveling dragon, this scene was perfectly replicated. Sun Lingtong was extremely astonished. What happened? Does Meng Zizhang really have issues? He suddenly turned his head, looking at Ning Zhuo. "Little brother, how did you know? We've both been acting together this whole time." Facing Sun Lingtong's questioning, Ning Zhuo said with a faint smile, "Firstly, the black wind tiger demon has to consume a huge amount of blood food every day. Relying solely on their gang to scavenge might support them temporarily, but how could it sustain them over time? Hence, they must have assistance from others. At first, when I saw the black wind tiger demon, which resembled the true mountain god's night tiger, I guessed that the former was a descendant of the latter and was protected and supported by the latter. But then I thought, for a position like the true mountain god, securing a good future for a worthy descendant wouldn't be difficult. At the very least, they would have sought a legitimate demon cultivator cultivation technique for them. Why would the black tiger resort to practicing demon skills? The fact that the black tiger is engaging in demon skills indicates a serious problem with the true mountain god. Sun Lingtong was not dull. He had just been cooped up for over a decade and had suddenly gone out. His mind was slightly unbalanced, and he didn't want to tax his brain. Now, with Ning Zhu's reminder, he immediately came to a realization. That's right, the first deity we sought to pay our respects to was the true mountain god, hoping for his assistance. However, the deity didn't exert any effort and only told us to seek the fox god. Now, it seems that it might not be out of laziness, but out of necessity. It might be that the tiger god we saw was someone else in disguise. Ning Zhuo nodded and continued his analysis. After being intimidated by the big snake scythe, the fox god sent us to explore the Xianxia Valley, a move that was mysterious and subtle in meaning. I suspect that he wanted to use me to uncover this secret. From his perspective, as the mountain god of Mist-Hidden Mountain, he must have been aware of the black wind tiger demon and even the true situation of the true mountain god. Logically, he should have reported to the officials and sought help from the southern Bean Kingdom. Perhaps he could even use this as an opportunity to overthrow his immediate superior and advance from deputy to principal. Yet he did not do so, instead feigning ignorance, playing dumb. Clearly, he believed that even if he took the initiative to report to the authorities, the outcome might not meet his expectations. What's stopping him from doing so? Sun Lingtong chuckled lightly. Simple. This means that the Southern Bean Kingdom isn't trustworthy in his eyes, and there's a hidden mastermind behind the scenes. So, you took the initiative to scout the surroundings, and that's how you came across Meng Zizhang at Yugeng Mountain. Ning Zhu nodded. The former town leader Shi of Yugeng Town was diligent and strictly managed during his tenure. To oust him using conventional means would be difficult. But the Meng family managed to do it. A gang of ruthless marauders led by the Black Wind Tiger Demon rampaged into the town, slaughtering at will, allowing Meng Zizhang to succeed the position and become the current town leader. All this time, the Tiger Demon's gang had been committing crimes in the surrounding areas, making the townspeople feel insecure. Even though Meng Zizhang repeatedly drained resources and time for military training, he was still recognized and esteemed by everyone. Meng Zizhang thus gripped military power tightly, preventing the royal family from easily replacing him. Moreover, he deliberately relaxed surveillance to attract a large number of loose cultivators. These loose cultivators thought they could take advantage of the mining fields, but in reality, they were lured in by Meng Zizhang and many became blood food for the tiger demons. Sun Lingtong inhaled lightly, truly filthy. But this is a good thing for us. Little Zhuo, you aim to seize Yugang Mountain. Now that we are aware of Meng Zizhang's and the Tiger Demon's secrets, if we use it wisely, we might make it work. Next, we continue to gather evidence to construct an ironclad case. Ning Zhu shook his head and sighed. It's difficult. The Meng family, being a prominent clan, must have prepared to sever ties if necessary. If they realize what we're doing, they will definitely cut off their losses. Even if we manage to bring down Meng Zizhang, it's unlikely that either you or I, or even my branch of the Ning clan, would get to control Yugang Mountain. Boss, sometimes evidence isn't that important. It's just a legitimate opportunity to act. If the situation and interests demand, grinding pearls into powder and using it as poison for false accusations is possible. To get a share of the flesh, it depends on whether we are strong enough or not. At this point, Ning Zhu's gaze became profound, his tone complex. Essentially, we are not much different from the demon cultivators in the valley fighting for blood food. Centuries ago, the Southern Bean Supreme Emperor founded and established the empire. Now, the Southern Bean Kingdom could be considered as the black-winged tiger demon. The Yugang Mountain we fight for is nothing but the scraps left by this enormous beast. Sun Lingtong fell silent for a moment. Fortunately, the Southern Bean Kingdom currently stands with us. They rely on us to maintain the balance in Fire Persimmon Immortal City and block Meng Qi's ambitions. From this perspective, the severe damage to the Lava Fairy Palace actually works greatly in our favor. It helps us delay the situation, securing more time to strengthen ourselves. With our current identity, seeking help from the Southern Bean royal family, they might actually consider allowing us to divide Yugang Mountain in light of the Fire Persimmon Immortal City. Ning Zhu nodded. It's not about allowing, but rather supporting. My branch of the Ning clan is just starting, like a babbling infant learning to walk. We indeed need someone to lend a hand. Let's go, it's time we seek out the local prefect. Xianxia Immortal City. Ning Zhu and Sun Lingtong, controlling the 10,000 li traveling dragon, traveled through the void, arriving at the central hub governing the surrounding territories. From a distance, a towering immortal city was situated atop magnetic stone mountain. The immortal city wasn't grounded, using the powerful force of the Earth's magnetism to float in midair. Block after block of gray-black bricks, as large as houses, were joined together, forming 2 or 3 gigantic rings that slowly revolved around the entire immortal city, a sight to behold. The block bricks contained magnetic forces that attracted and repelled each other. Therefore, they could be freely dismantled and reformed, typically as ring-shaped walls, but also as gates, walkways, railings, and more, with endless versatility and broad usage. The immortal city itself wasn't a single entity, but rather comprised 2 levels. The upper level was the Yang level, and the lower the Yin level, with the 2 levels separated by magnetic repulsion and attraction. Even though the city protecting Great Array of Xianxia Immortal City was partially active all year round, assisting various surveillance magic treasures, and despite city guards in magnetic attire or navigating in magnetic boats patrolling around, the 10,000 li traveling dragon still remained undetected. Dragons could grow large or shrink, ascend or descend, be boisterous or stealthy. As a classic mechanical artifact built for battle, it left much to be desired, but its capability for quick and agile movement was unmatched. Boss, it all depends on you now. Xianxia Immortal City can artificially create a Xuan power magnetic field, capable of maintaining invisible magnetic tracks for long periods. If the 10,000 li traveling dragon carelessly touches these tracks or fields, it might be detected, Ning Zhu said. Sun Lingtong confidently replied, "Leave it to me." Using his innate spiritual eyes and leveraging the mechanical components within the 10,000 li traveling dragon, he significantly expanded his field of view and immediately detected many invisible magnetic fields and tracks. In his unique vision, these tracks intersected and intertwined, varying in length, weaving through the inside and outside of the immortal city, creating a complex nest-like network of pathways. Between the gaps of this nest-like magnetic track system, large and small magnetic fields, each spaced apart, some centered around buildings within the city, others moving around within a certain radius, focused on magnetic boats and cultivators. The 10,000 li traveling dragon concealed its form and carefully navigated past magnetic fields, avoiding the tracks, to arrive at the city lord's mansion on the level above. The mansion was located along the central axis of the city, with a vermilion gate inlaid with numerous magnetic iron nails, gleaming in brass. Above the gate, a sign hung high with the words Prefect Xianxia, shining with a golden glow. On both sides of the entrance, a pair of stone lions lay, exuding an imposing aura. The 10,000-li traveling dragon silently entered through the gate, reaching the ceremonial gate. Beyond it lay the main hall. At the center of the main hall, the prefect's desk was set up, above which hung the sign Clear Breeze in both sleeves, with portraits of famous officials from the Southern Bean Kingdom adorning all four walls. The main hall was deserted, and the 10,000-li traveling dragon, carrying Sun Ning and another person, quietly moved into the second hall. The east side of the second hall was Prefect Xianxia's study, while the west side was the council hall. Beyond the second hall lay the backyard of the mansion, the private residence of Prefect Xianxia's family. Sun Ning and his companion did not need to venture deeper. They discovered the current Prefect Xianxia in the study. Ning Zhuo returned to the doorway of the study first, releasing the heavy blood ape Dasheng from outside the mechanical dragon. Prefect Xianxia was shocked and angry. Who? He was of the nascent soul level, and he abruptly stood up, his mana erupting forth, completely suppressing Yuan Dasheng. Yuan Dasheng struggled to speak and took out a letter and a token. Prefect Xianxia read the letter, which recounted his previous official posts, how he started his career, and how he reached his current position. It suggested that as a mere loose cultivator, his rapid rise and smooth career were due to the favor and support of the Zhu family royal family. In the latter half of the letter, Ning Zhuo finally brought up that he had a significant case to report. Prefect Xianxia then saw the token, which was especially given to Sun Lingtong by Zhu Xuanji. According to the recruitment decree, the Southern Bean royal family promised rewards for meeting the entrance standard. Hence, they gave Sun Lingtong a token to facilitate his future visit to the royal capital, allowing him to choose a treasure from the royal family's treasury. Indeed, this is a royal family token. Young friend Ning Zhuo, you may come out and meet me. Prefect Xianxia relaxed his grip, freeing the heavy blood ape Dasheng. Only then did the 10,000-li traveling dragon reveal itself, its dragon eyes casting a beam of light onto the ground. Ning Zhuo followed the light beam, changing from small to large, and eventually landed firmly, his posture straight. He respectfully saluted Prefect Xianxia, immediately apologizing and pleading for leniency, then emphasized that such measures were a result of compelling circumstances and were necessary. A 10,000-li traveling dragon. No wonder you managed to infiltrate this far. Prefect Xianxia glanced at the dragon, and then surveyed Ning Zhuo with a scrutinizing look. I know you, lad. You've been quite active in Fire Persimmon Immortal City, jumping up and down. But if you think this place is like Fire Persimmon Immortal City, you are grievously mistaken, he said. Speak, I'm curious to hear what significant case you have to report. Should it prove to be mere boasts and exaggerations, don't blame me for punishing you, the official warned. Ning Zhuo smiled faintly, directly accused Meng Zizhang, described the issue with the black-winged tiger demon, and as evidence, he presented the imprint copy of the recording, handing it directly to the city lord of Xianxia. City Lord Xianxia, upon hearing the case, had his pupils shrink slightly in surprise. A chill ran down his spine, a cold dread rising within him. He was sorely tempted to turn a deaf ear and just walk away.